Good day, everybody. Happy Sunday, 23rd of January 2022. A wonderful year. We can start seeing everything begin to clear within the matrix. So we can move forward and get these fruit forests set up and start spreading into the land that which we all so rightfully deserve. If anyone has any questions or they have to go at a certain time, please feel free to put your hands up straight away, and we'll get on with the Q&A. Sister Charlene, I can see that your hand is up. Please unmute your microphone and welcome, dear sister. How are
Good
you?
morning, Josh and family. Hope all is well.
Yes.
Well, Josh, it's, talking about my journey here on my water fast, if you don't mind.
Please.
And I'm starting day 6. And a lot of body expressions, per se. Have At night, my body just, it wakes me up sometimes when I feel the sensation of a lot of burning in my arms and legs and face, chest area, abdomen. I've been doing the lymphatic massages several times a day,
Good.
and the hot cold. What I do is with the hot cold is the shower, and then 20 seconds of cold
Mm-hmm.
throughout my body, and then I shut it off, turn hot on again
Uh-huh.
for about a minute, and then go back to cold, 20 seconds all over, and I end in cold. And it's, just been drinking strictly water, no lemon or no nothing like that. Dry mouth at night, and sometimes a little bit during the day.
Yeah.
And, my stomach feels like it's just really contracting. It's just like almost sucking in. And and a little bit of, like a sensation on my left under my rib. It's not so much like a, oh my gosh, a pain, but something there occasionally I'll feel. So just continuing on the dry fast, or not the dry fast, the water fast. And how long do you feel I should continue, or a little bit of your insights?
Yeah. I mean, the detoxing and removal, you just got to realize that this is a parasitic cleanse by its nature. The things that
Mm-hmm.
cause us all these problems during our, you could say, existence is because of a deep rooted parasite or parasites within inside of us. And what we're trying to do is actually remove them from the deep cellular level, which, as we start to reveal and take away their food, they become, quite aggravated, and it feels quite uncomfortable. And the areas that you're possibly, well, you are feeling these burning sensations is as they're starting to be released from the system. Um, the great cleanse and the great detox has to happen through the double cycling, of eggs, etc., within inside. So it's very important once you've done this that you refeed strictly on fruit if you're really looking for this deep cleanse. And that's what, you know, beings who participate and partake in this type of cleanse or this type of journey, they have to be either 100% in with it, or they need to go through the transitional process until their body, tells them that it's time to remove this because you're starting to feel the sensitivity of this food and it's not necessarily comfortable anymore. And it takes you down this process to this elimination where you would end up
Right.
on a water fast. So, yeah, the journey is uncomfortable. And the most important thing is, if you're ready for it, is to just take each step without any expectations, because the further that you go down, the easier it's going to get for you. There will become a point when you know that you're ready for a refeed. That you feel it, you're ready. It's beautiful. But these first 6, 6, 7 days are going to be the hardest for you. So I don't want to say, you should try just do 7 days, because if you really feel up to it, it'd be great if you could just extend it until you feel ready, because your journey is relative to everything you're doing. Um, Again, the more that you can water
Right,
fast, the more a great deep cleanse, killing, and balance is going to happen. So remain goalless. If you could try and do, at least I'd say the 7 to 10 day mark and see how you
right.
feel. I think up to sort of most people who experience extended water fasting, after day 7, they start to go back to the gym, and then they start to go back to work, and then they can, up to like day 20, 25, they still feel absolutely full of energy, which is really, really good, and it's really wonderful to see. Apart from that, you really have to go into that trust. You really have to go into the knowing, the deep knowing within inside yourself that this is. And if it's not something that you know, then seek the information to make you feel like you can know until the
Right,
experience has been happened. A water fast in itself, there's so much information, so much disinformation, so much hearsay, and you are absolutely the most safest on the distilled water, adding no salts, no electrolytes, no nothing, because this is causing the system to flush any of these salts and toxins out. And if you introduce any type of salts, it takes water from the cell and then pushes it out into the outer of the cell, causes inflammation and swelling. So it's very key that we remain free from any of these excess salt, or any salts, any additives. Um, but I would say you don't have anything to worry about.
right.
The pain that you're going through is the expression of this leaving your body. So we know weakness leaving your body, parasites leaving your body, bringing them to light. They're going to cause your system cravings. The dry mouth that you're experiencing again is a part of the DARF. It's absolutely natural. You have to worry. I know you're pushing in water, but the dry mouth is a part of this. You may experience a smelly breath like death, but again, the distillation of your intestines is causing the external, you could say, sludge that's stuck on the actual intestinal wall itself to start breaking down and breaking off, which is why the smell can be quite bad on the breath. And obviously, ketosis being a part of it causes this to happen, but that's truly what's happening inside your system. Have you got any sort of questions that arise within inside your mind? Have you got any doubts? Have you got any fears? Have you got any
Sometimes I do fight with my mind, and I have to observe those thoughts and calm that monster down for sure. The experience, like this is, with these different physical feelings and stuff. Of course, it's my first experience with it,
yeah,
so it brings out a lot of that type of questioning and so forth. So I have to really take the walks and try to be outside as much as I can. Right now, I'm in Florida and it's freezing out here. But I was like, oh my gosh, I wish the sun was up. But, I try to get out there, warm up, and still walk.
yeah,
And there's a question I have as far as, of course, I'm urinating the water and so forth out, but, I've had no bowel movements whatsoever. And sometimes I said, should I do something to try to have, a colonic or anything like that? And what's your take on that type of,
Well, to be honest, depending, the colonics and all of these types of exercises are really for people that are consuming the bad food previously to it.
right?
If you've been on a predominantly plant-based diet, all that's happening is there'll be a collective one inside the intestine, and when it's ready to be removed, it will remove itself. So there'll
Okay,
be a point where you have nothing, maybe for 7 days, 8 days, and then you feel like you need to go. And when you go, sometimes it can feel like you feel quite unwell for maybe half hour. There starts to be a build up, and you feel these toxins. You start to feel sick, and then once you've had that movement, everything alleviates, and you feel really great again. Maybe you will, like I can't remember the calling of it, the first baby's poo, like tar,
I'm
the first,
sorry, I
the,
didn't
the,
quite pick that.
first time a baby goes to the toilet is quite thick.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, it's like tar. Oh
Tar,
my
yeah.
gosh, I remember our son. It just was like, oh my, it was, yep. It was like, and it kept wiping and wiping. When is this stuff gonna come off?
It's incredible. So you may just experience something that resembles something like that. Um,
Yeah,
but you just have to really have trust, have faith, and be ready for this. So the acclimation or a slow integration of this lifestyle. That's why the first book that we did, or the recipe book, was the transitional,
right,
because people coming from a Western diet, jumping straight into something like this is quite difficult because all you're going to be doing is detoxing, and you're experiencing detoxing right now, and you've come from a pleasant eating habit.
right,
It's all your
right.
journey, it's all really your journey, and it's it's better to do it now, than
Exactly.
have
And
to
I'm,
keep
you
cycling.
know, I'm all, I'm all in. I'm not, I went through my pantry and as when I was doing this, and as I was detoxing, so was my pantry.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so
So how's your
yes,
skin? Do you feel, is the skin starting to look tighter
right.
and
And that was the other thing, my, like in here is very dry, very, very dry into here. And under the surface, I mean, my body weight was slight to begin with, but under the surface, under here
mhm,
and in my abdomen, all these little beads, just all these feelings of these little tiny beads. And, when I do my lymphatic in my groin area and I, wave it like, that kind of a waving effect for the massage and coming up, you know, near the pubic, well, above the pubic area in starting my abdomen. Then there's all those little beads all through my abdomen.
uh-huh.
And
So
I'm
if you would,
sure it's a,
please carry on. Sorry.
yeah. And I feel that those are, buildup of little acid pellets.
Hmm. You can
You know,
refeed and push things back into the cells, and then you go back to the level that you previously were. But it's, again, once this has been detoxified, you have restored and regenerated the system for, depending
right,
on how long you've been feeding it certain foods for, depending on how much we need to sort of cleanse it. For me, it's absolutely necessary that my body is working to its function, uh,
right,
to its
right.
highest.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to go the journey on that. And previously, when I was just after the refeed from the water fast, and I had expressed that my stomach wouldn't take the fruit, it just wasn't it just would bloat. And
Hmm.
so I guess that to me was telling me I needed to water fast. There's things that need
Yeah.
to be
When you
worked
mix
on.
certain fruits as well, or when you're having certain foods, when these entities or acidic formed molecules, you could say, as fruits ingested, there would be a reaction. So it feels very inflammatic pressure, and you know,
Right,
s- and this is why when people come from a Western diet and they have fruit and they say fruit makes them feel bad, is because there's a slow transitional process that's causing all of these uncomfortable things to be felt. And that's the only thing. So it's being recognized. It's knowing that if you do have certain foods and you put certain fruits in with you, there's this a relationship between them that's opposing. So this is why we feel the pressure. This is why we feel the bloating. This is why we feel the inflammation when we consume certain fruits from certain foods. But rest assured, when you just consume the fruits for a certain period of time, that won't happen. But again, during your detox, if you brought things to light and they're still manifest within inside, then it's good to just take a powerful route,
keep it
give it your
keep it
all.
going.
Yeah,
Right,
because you could now do something which you've cleaned some, they go back into the cells. You haven't had a deep cell cleanse. They're still existed inside of you. like the hepatitis virus or the chicken pox, that people have, that stays with people for a lifetime. But then that's existed inside your body and using your body as a host. Logically, to see that, you would say that, well, if I'm feeding someone or someone's feeding through me, they're taking parts of my physical body away, which is going to, break down time, the time the body has.
Right.
Doing this is going to extend life to, the highest capacity, which for me, a 40 day or a 30 day or a 20 day or something like this is, once it's done and you're back and the moment still exists. Last Christmas felt like a lifetime away, the Christmas before, but yet it's already been experienced and we're here now.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stay strong. And then once you've gone through this, how much wisdom are you going to be able to share through your experience to somebody else, for the whole group?
Exactly.
And it is a great
Exactly.
thing.
So RSO, leave that alone. Just continue on just the water and not interrupt with any.
Yeah, I would, again, RSO is a form of oil base. It's a thick oil
Right,
base.
that's true.
Water and oil don't mix, even though it's very small in its structure. I mean, the best thing to use would be like a distillate, but I think right now you need to be with the mind, you need to be with the body, and you need to be with the spirit.
Exactly.
Feel everything that it brings, all of the mind that jumps up, all of the stillness that you have within the body. You see, you're able to locate the mind. You're able to see that it is not actually you and it's a function. And then that contemplation in that moment, to distract you is the mind, to bring presence is the attentive to this now. And then again, the deeper space, the thing which sees and observes all of the things that you're contemplating on. That great seer is what you truly are. So
You
once that
know,
logically sits in with you, you transfer your consciousness and it can never go back as such. You become this great seer that is unaffected by all things. It's a powerful, powerful Buddha realization.
right. And that is, and I said to my husband, I says, boy, oh boy, the hardest thing is to do nothing. And given, my time on this planet, I was doing this, doing that, jump, you know,
Yeah.
and to un unprogram that, is the journey in of itself. And I was always, let me see, I'll help you with that, or, it was,
Uh,
a whole different me.
yeah.
And, as I'm going through this detox, and it's 6 days out of 66 years, So right now I'm 666, so
Mm,
it, as I detox, like I said, I did my kitchen, but there's a lot of this detoxing having to go on too, meaning a mental detox.
mm.
And, joining the two together is, is the best time to do that. So
You are the great
I,
seer that sees.
right. Thank you. Right.
And we have a nice a comment here
So
saying your eyes look
anyway, I'm
sparkly and clear. Your sister Bonnie said your eyes look sparkly
maybe
and
it's my
clear.
glasses here. How do they look now?
No, you do. You look very
Thank
vibrant. Even though
you.
you may feel quite weak at this point, you look very vibrant. You do. Your skin looks very flamboyant and very vibrant. So keep doing it. Exactly what you're doing. Allow the skin
Yeah.
to detoxify and watch everything that happens. Pay really close attention to it and share everything you can with the group.
Yeah. The one thing was, I had expressed my breathing, it just, when I would try to take a deep breath, and then that, like, and you try to hold it, I'll get like a crunching kind of like in here. Yeah. Um, and through here and up there in the back of my throat. And I don't know if it's maybe like a sinus that has like a lot of compaction yet. I've been doing a neti pot these past couple of days
Hmm.
to try to clear, whatever I can in the sinus cavity area. If, that does help in releasing anything in the sinus area. So uh, yeah, breathing, and it seems like whatever with my stomach, if it was affecting my diaphragm um, process, but it would be like that nice deep breath through the nose. Sometimes it just gets, and then it'd be wrong when I try to go in through here. So that process of breathing, sometimes would get me anxious that it's maybe maybe my nervous system or something like that that's kind of out of balance as well. But
Everything that you're doing is for the balance, though, so everything that is out of balance is out of balance because the balance is taking place.
right,
And previous to that, it wasn't out of balance, it was out of sync, it was very
right,
down, so right now it's just adjusting and it's finding its feet because there is the ability for it now to walk again, having the correct
right.
processing, having this clearing, and as the candida is dying off, it expresses itself in any parts of our body.
Yeah,
So you could
yeah,
have it on the thyroid gland, and every time, you could be breathing now, and it could have a vibration that's being sent down the tract, which is then causing this to feel something, which is, feels like it's sticking,
gotcha.
but it's not.
Yeah,
And, 6 days. I mean, you've been doing the juice fast, you've cleared your system, you've allowed, a relaxed body function. The water fast is going to absolutely push everything out of you as fast as it can. There is no faster way. There is no better way for any type of healing than the water fast itself, as long as the refeed is. Someone sent me a video. Uh, there's a man right now going through social media. Very seems very intellectual, very intelligent. A lot of people are going to listen to him what he says, but it's very intellectual without logic. Patterson or Peterson, some man he's going through is very intellectual, and he was speaking of when he was younger, his daughter had chronic arthritis and didn't know why. His diet is really off, doesn't know how to eat. But he said that he went through all the medical literature to find out what his what he could do for his daughter. And there's only one piece of you could say reliable uh, healing that took place, and it was only through fasting that symptoms went. But it was during the refeed that they all came back. And his diet now is, he says that he doesn't have any carbohydrates, he only has meat. So he has a meat only diet. So when they fast, they feel better because obviously, when people go on these meat based diets or meat only diets, they actually stop having processed food at the same time. So they start to feel better, but then there's no grand healing. So the only thing within the medical literature is that fasting causes the body's ability to become free and to start to heal. But every time people refeed, it comes back because they eat the same food again. And those
right.
parasites cycle, the eggs still come back. So a baby that hatches within inside the alkaline slash balanced environment is not going to be able to refeed, grow, and thus die off again. And that way, once you've finished the cycling of these hosts, what we were talking about earlier, the chickenpox or the herpes virus that stays with everybody forever won't be able to be regenerated and has left your body. So you are free from all these hosts, which that body there is such a magnificent body to have.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, Back in our day with chicken pox, we just had them. We had the chicken pox, and so once you have them, that is within you.
Yeah, it stays with you dormant in the body because of the
Gotcha.
nature of your food.
Right,
That's
right.
all it is.
Right. There used to be chicken pox parties, Oh, your child got the chicken pox. Let me come over. They did. The parents did. Let my child have the chicken pox. That was the mindset.
And
And
they used to say that once you've had the chicken pox, they say that if you ever get shingles later on in life, that it's not so severe. But you can't get shingles without having chicken pox.
right, right, right. So different times for sure.
Yes, sister.
Well, thank you so much for your knowledge and inspirations to continue on with this because I'm all in, and I
Exciting
just want
times.
to do, honor myself and continue doing the best, which is continuing to fast.
Yeah. Are you feeling better than day 2, day 3 right now?
Today, I had just woke up a half hour before your session here, so to get just that stomach area where it feels like there's a pit in there or contraction, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit more energy. My day is yet to unfold here in the morning, but that burning last night was a tremendous burning on my body. It was like, wow, I just laid there and I went, oh my gosh, what's not what's happening. It's just like, wow, my body's really under construction.
Mm.
And, just laying there, just observing the experience of it. And
Can I ask
so,
you how long did you feel discomfort within your stomach? Not last night or the night before, just previous to this. Have you always
well,
last few
it
years
was
or?
there, during the juice fast, it was fine. The refeeding, when I started to try the fruit, then it was, yeah, I couldn't eat much. It just did, the stomach. And I would say there's always like, there's something there, uh, that's not allowing me to refeed. And, and I shared with you my experience, what I was told. So,
I look forward to
um,
that coming out for you.
exactly. And you know what? And that's when I wake up and I says, today's another day for the best to be had. And so that's where I keep, my focus, the
Yes.
kingdom, the kingdom is within, and I am looking and moving and focusing on that.
Turn your house into a temple and you keep it
Yes.
clean, and God shall visit you
Yeah.
and stay with you.
So, yeah, she'll stay there. Thank you so much, everyone, and you guys all have a beautiful day. And
Mm.
I'll update in the next Q&A how I'm doing.
Yes, well done for your strength. And
Thank
we very much look forward to hearing this wonderful journey, because it is a journey, and albeit an uncomfortable one, you're strong, you're doing great, and
thank you
it is
so
time
much.
to eliminate.
That is for sure. A lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
love
Everybody have
to
a
you.
beautiful day. Love you all.
You take care, sister.
And
Thank
you
you.
too. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Brother Matthew, how are you today, brother?
Very well, thank you. Can you hear me all right? I'm just trying to get my images bigger. I'm not sure how. It's not very
I can hear
pleasant. I
you
think I put you
perfectly.
on, George. Right, I can hear you now. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, yes, very well.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm in the same kind of boat as Charlene, but I wanted to just share something quickly, get that out of the way, because I forgot to tell you last time. But
Okay.
after the 23-day fast on juice and then the 3 days of water, so I had the 3 days of water, and on the fourth day, I started drinking juice. I had 2 glasses of juice, and then, like you just said, I started to feel, about 15 minutes later, I started to feel a bit of a stomach ache, and I was thinking, God, I must be empty by now, right? Nothing had come out for ages. And then I knew I was going to have to go to the toilet, and within the space of 15 minutes, I went 4 times, and it was such a large amount.
Wow.
It scared me. And then the fifth time was just water, so I knew it was sort of over, but I did feel quite ill up until that moment. And since then, it's gone a bit downhill, I'm afraid. But I do know the path I'm on, and so
How have you been feeding? How have you been eating?
I just something. I have to deal with this myself, and I don't think. I mean, I think you must be getting bored with repeating the same thing to us all the time,
Never,
right? And
never, never,
also, I
never.
want to say that just to all my other ex-family members, I try to say it in the nicest way possible, but don't even try lying to Joss because he knows. I can see it, I can hear it, so I'm not going to do that. I wanted to ask you about something. What was it? Oh yeah, what about the fruit forests?
Mm,
Like I was lucky enough to live in Brazil for 10 years, and I still have many good friends there, and those fruit forests already exist in Brazil.
mhm.
They're just there with nobody there. So that's one of my wishes, is to go back there, because although I lived in the city, I was able to grow banana trees and papaya trees and passion fruit trees. Within 1 year, they already give fruit in the first year that you plant them. And I was going to ask you a question about the breadfruits or the jackfruits. Plus, I've come across passion fruits like bigger than my head, and avocados that are so huge that they break the branches of the trees when they fall. I
Mm,
mean, they break them before they fall. So, and some of those breadfruits, which are just abundant everywhere you go in Brazil, because people don't really eat them, just the very poor people. The rich people don't bother with that sort of thing. Although I know exactly what you mean about tasting like bubble gum,
mm.
because they're absolutely delicious. But some of them are so huge that if they fell when you were walking underneath them, they would probably kill you.
Yeah.
That's how big they are. So are these remnants from the giants? Did the giants eat these gigantic fruits? They must have done, right?
The giant. We'll call it conspiracy for now.
Yeah.
The giant conspiracy. I think 90% of what we have seen has been done on a computer, but the trees, the leveling of trees, what we can see, mountains, you could say, and
Mm-hmm.
and the purpose of this earth, it wouldn't surprise me if our avatars that we previously inhabited were larger, just because bigger trees means more oxygen, which means more growth, etc. So logically, yeah, there would probably be a very large avatar that we did have, and they would probably shrink in time and then go back as we started to re-establish this beautiful plane again. um, but yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. But these fruits themselves, they're made for you. They're made for a meal. They're made for you to be able to survive. The reason why date palms and cactuses can exist in these very hot climates without any water is one, they're so nutritionally dense, so high in glucose, such high in this the body's sugar that it needs. It's a wonderful fuel. um, the cactus itself stores the water, so everything is kind of perfectly dynamic for where it is. But it doesn't mean that you should exist there. These fruits that we see have been kept away from lands like ours, England, and the colder climates, and we never get to experience what these true fruits ever will be like. But that size there, I would say most people don't eat enough. A 20-kilo jackfruit, once you've taken all the seeds off and everything, probably is going to remain maybe 4 or 5 kilo of food. I could consume that in one sitting. You really could.
Me
um
too.
yeah, so I would say great concept, but I can never give you the true answer for that one, so I'll remain silent.
Okay. Quick question about plantains and chilies and tamarind. All these things have seeds. So are they fruits?
I mean, yeah, I would say the only thing that tamarind could be classified as is a legume. um,
Right.
but you don't eat the seeds. Most
No.
legumes you're eating the seeds themselves. So I would say it's probably more like a fruit itself than a legume, but I think it's been classified as a legume. But to me,
Hmm.
legumes by definition would be you're consuming the actual seed itself, like a pea or a bean as such.
Right.
But those vines that you were speaking of, the passion fruit vines, a properly grown garden, when you would have this passion fruit grow around the tree, and it would vine up on all the branches and hang
Yeah.
down, and a really well groomed you could say a perfectly shaped passion fruit within a tree, you could probably get 2,000 passion fruits per
Mhm,
vine.
for sure.
You know, it's incredible.
I've actually been, Joss, in someone's like apartment in the middle of the city of Rio. They had three balconies, and on this one balcony was the most beautiful passion fruit vine with all these fruits on it, right? And when the guy came back who owned the place, he said, "You wouldn't believe it, Matt. I was just sitting out there eating a passion fruit, and I just threw those seeds in the corner of the balcony. There's no soil, there's nothing, and it just grew." Yeah.
Some magic going
There's a
on.
little tiny bit of mud in the corner of the balcony, and that's all it needed.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that weather, they just go crazy.
it's beautiful.
Right,
And
my
if you find any
see,
information, please make sure you send it as well. If you have any information, any lands, you come across all these types of things, we would be so open to seeing, you know, everything that's available out there. So if anyone
what about
listening or
Brazil? You mean?
yeah, anywhere and anything that you see, it's great to be able to look at, to be able to see the plausibility of it, because we don't just want one space, we would love all over, and
Right,
it's
right.
unifying us together that we're going to be able to do these things.
I'm starting to get sort of like when I get my hair on the back of my neck stands on end
Mm.
because I'm having to move from here because my mother is getting worse and worse and worse. So there is a place available that's 5 minutes from her place, right? And my cousin lives there now, so we're going to do a swap, and it's number 7. And I just did a I Ching reading to see whether I should do it or not, and I got number 26. Just one number. I mean, you're familiar with the I Ching, like obviously, and so it's like putting all my resources into action. There's no warnings or anything like that, so I really have to get my stuff together because I've been in places in Brazil in the past, just where I've gone into the middle of absolutely nowhere, where everything is so beautiful. I went to meet this one couple that built a house, and they own all this land, and they said to me like 30 years ago, Matt, if you ever want to come here and build a house over there or over there, over there, feel free. And that's what Brazilians are like. There's so many places like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm getting excited now. But
Yes.
my one biggest problem, right, just to get it out of the way, is when I was on the medications, right, which is just over a year ago, when I was taking all those pharmaceuticals, I didn't have an appetite. I was just like rack my brains thinking, what the heck can I eat just so that I have to take these pills after? Now it's completely the opposite. I just want to eat all day long.
Hmm.
So I've got to get that under control.
But that's a good thing, you know, and really these fruits slip down effortlessly, digest effortlessly, and your body's obviously needing some new structure. So again, this is the drive to the space. This is the drive back to the land that grows all these things. When you watch people just don't realize how lucky they are to exist in these warm temperate zones with this fruit dropping around them, and they choose to eat, you know, a steak or a cow, anything that's, you know, not these fruits, you're ready for it. But unfortunately, you'll see if you study the matrix or you have this broad range that most of the places that are absolutely beautiful in their nature, they have very high murder rate, very high crime rate, very high, you know, such of these things. And in places where there is no um, fruit, they're very suppressed. It's very, you know, docile, but then also energetically advanced because they see the nature of the world as well. And it starts to get, you know, we don't want this and we don't want that. For example, what's happening now. So
Right.
this is what we're studying. This is what we're looking at. And we take everything into consideration until that very grand switch has happened. So for now, we're just so open to everything and we're checking every last, you know, corner so we know where would be the best
Excellent.
place. But
Well,
Brazil is a lovely place. You're absolutely right. I mean, the rainforest there and the fruit capabilities, the weather, the beaches and the land itself so fertile. Very perfect, very perfect. Um, but there is a high murder
it
rate.
is perfect. But like you said, just, I lived there for 10 years and supposedly the most dangerous city.
Mm.
in the world, right? Rio. But it's absolute lies. I mean, it's more dangerous trying to cross the road than it is anything
Oh, it's all
else.
gang related, isn't it? It's between gangs.
So
That's all.
I had guns stuck in my face and I had people threatening me. I mean, there was even one night with this massive, I mean, look, I'm just skin and bone, you know. It was during carnival and this massive, crazy black man was running. Anyway, he threatened me. He was trying to find gays so that he could murder them, which I won, right? So like I was absolutely petrified. But in that moment, I remembered I used to have a yoga teacher that taught us if you are ever in this situation, all you have to do, it's a bit like you in a way, but he died a long time ago, is slightly lean towards them without them noticing and then look into their eyes. Because this man wanted to shake my hand and he started squeezing my hand really hard. And I was trying to squeeze back. So you look into his eyes and you just wish with all your heart that whoever this person is, that they will have a good eyesight for the whole of their life.
Oh.
I did it with all my might and immediately let go and went, okay, brother, da 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 da, da, and ran off.
Mm.
That was, a long time ago. But all these things are coming back to haunt me now because I thought my life was over, and you know, then you came along.
Your life is just this moment.
Yeah,
The perpetual moment of this wonderful experience that you're experiencing. And body freedom is here, is coming, it's aligning with you. And the earth is aligning with you, and everyone here, they see the truth. And it's just a matter of time before your synchronization slots in, the experience is open, the opportunity arises, and you're there existing with these wonderful, huge fruits fit for yourself and the family.
that's the beauty. In Brazil, you only need one avocado, and it will last you a week.
One, I mean, the
I'm just
breadfruit,
kidding.
the breadfruit's
Breadfruit
huge.
is fantastic.
The sour sap. Did you ever experience sour sap or maybe guanabana?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what I did experience, which you'll like. Right, my friend and I were staying on this desert island with this sort of family out of like a campsite, but very rustic. There was no one else there. And after a few days, they always ran out of food because all they've got is rice and beans and fish and stuff, right? And if you missed the fruit guy or the bread guy, that was it. You couldn't get it. It was once a day he passed. So we said to the family, is there any fruit around? And they were like, no. And this girl was sweeping up these, they looked like fruits to us. So we tried these fruits and they were absolute, they were like a lychee. They were the same texture as a lychee. They're absolutely beautiful. And they were called jabuticaba.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, where did those fruits come? And then they sent the girl down to show us this tree down the bottom of the hill. And there was this humongous, everything's humongous in Brazil, this massive tree, and all the fruit was on the trunk. The branches were empty,
Mm.
but it was high up. And so we had to pay these kids to go up and throw us tons. And we feasted on them for days. And these people don't even eat them.
No. Are they black? Are they the black tree grapes?
They're black, yeah.
They grow on the bark.
Yeah, on the trunk, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not on the branches. And I've had so many fruits and up in the mountains, 1 hour from Rio, up in the mountains, by the side of the roads, there's these old guys that sell bunches of bananas, which are like so tiny that when you first see them, you just think it's a joke. And then when you stop and you buy them, they taste like those little fake sweets that the kids eat.
Yeah.
They're absolutely wonderful,
Mm.
but they only grow up there. Lots of things like
We'll
that.
find that, and across board, if you get yourself an exotic fruit specialist or you start to branch out, you start to buy seeds, there's so many different diverse things you can have across board, That's exactly the beautiful experience that once one's transcended the mind, it's just effortless beauty to be able to sit with land, sit with life, watch things, the ants, the little precious bugs that we have there, instead of being afraid of them, trying to put, I think it was a cultural thing. And Matthew, you probably would have experienced the same thing. Did your mother, when you had an ant's nest, pour hot water down?
No, she did. My mother would never kill anything, not even a
Oh,
fly.
Yeah, well, I used
But
to
this
see
funny,
that.
I'll share something else with you, right? They have these hornets in Brazil, these great big horrible things. But it was years before when I first moved there, I was warned I wasn't allowed to go to the favela, I wasn't allowed to get the bus, nothing. But and after 2 years, I suddenly found myself where I wasn't supposed to be, the favela, right? And every single poor house in favela has a hornet's nest by the front door. They just make them there, right?
Yeah.
And then when people come to visit, if there's a stranger in the group, these hornets will come out and warn them and chase them away. If these people have got bad intentions, the hornets will get rid of them.
Uh-huh.
They know the people that live there, they know their smell, and they don't cause you any damage at all. So,
That's one
yeah,
thing I noticed in Spain. I think I shared it before when we first moved there. We were in the garden underneath an almond tree, and the almond flowers are so sweet, such a sweet smell. And the whole tree was vibrating with bees, like thousands just on this bee. And you could sit underneath, enjoy your fruit, and not one would stray. They would just, they do what they do, and that's it. And in England, because there's no nature for these bees or these these animals to be able to go and do what they need to do, they're kind of lost themselves, so they tend to stray on you or go in your food and have a look around. And you can see as you start to move back to these spaces that there is an absolute perfect function for all things to exist in perfect balance and harmony. I remember watching ants and how they take all the leaves away in the winter and take things underground and the seeds underground and clear everything for you, but really essentially what they're doing is putting seeds dormant underground, so when the water levels hit that, they actually start to sprout when when it's ready. It's amazing. Grasshoppers.
right on
Yeah.
that note, is it
Go on, brother, please.
going? No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the grasshoppers, when they have or locusts, the infestations in America where they sweep and eat everything. And
Yeah,
usually it's down to floods, because when these crops are ruined, their
right,
eggs are
right.
dormant underground. They become activated by a flood, and then they come up and eat the crops. And that's a relationship to say to stop the crops rotting and doing what would happen in that sense. And then you see the whole of nature is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Is it true that the bees were brought here from Venus by certain intelligences many, many moons ago to help humans survive on this planet when they were sort of reincarnated here?
I would say that everything that we see truly comes down to the aspect of consciousness expanding itself even to a new idea. So that would be expressed in form through its dream state, the manifestation of things. But Venus and Mars were once the sun and the moon had existed here, and then as the torus expands, these move outward, and a new sun is born through the center, and then it would continue to push itself out in this way. So it probably once before that Mars and Venus were the suns and moons of this land, and then as our sun and moon was earthed, they would have shifted out into the expansion of this Taurus system. So I would say that it's probably a good story. Once upon a time, when the moon was Venus and the sun was Mars, that bees came into manifestation to help with the nature of fruit to inhabit humans here. Because previous to the humans, all animals, came into the existence. So we were experiencing a not a very lower life form, a life form without the expansive consciousness. So just an ecosystem within itself. And then as that ecosystem was so harmonious, you could say man was dreamt into existence rather than birthed as such, because the very nature of your birth is also a very great concept. Why were you
Okay.
born? It's a great question. You were never born. You just believe you were born.
Yeah, well, if I was never born, I was born in Yemen, right? In an RAF hospital. like 7 weeks prematurely because my mother, they did something, I brought on the birth prematurely, and I was born with hemorrhoids, right? That's what my mother told me. Now, would that be because of total fear of coming out or something?
No,
Anyway, that's a question for another time, maybe, Joss.
traumatic birth can just be a part of everything that you need to go through in your experience for your evolution and enlightenment. You know, everything that we see, the suffering that we see of these young children, that unless one has a really heightened perception to see that everything is perfect for them and it's due to the previous karma for them to evolve,
Right.
everything that you've experienced in this lifetime here, brother, is absolutely for you to evolve and to be able to observe and see. And that's why you're here. That's why this will be whatever you will allow it to be,
Yeah.
and as far as
Well,
you will go.
I know what I've got to do. Is there anything just that I can deal with? My biggest problem really about the fact, I mean, I've tried some of your recipes, they're fantastic. I had the, anyway, is there anything I can do about feeling cold all the time? I mean, that soup really warms me up, but I can't drink that all the time, right?
So you're staying on fruit right now, yeah? You're
No, I've been eating
okay.
mostly stuff that I've made myself, but it shouldn't really be on my diet list.
Okay.
So I want to do just the fruit, but I just feel cold all the time.
Yeah.
If I was in Brazil, I would have no problem eating fruit whatsoever, I think, but is that
No,
just,
I definitely, as you become warmer, I mean, the most things most people wouldn't want is a watermelon that's cold,
yeah,
and it just hydrates you and it fills you, and then you continue to just eat like this. Eh, Again,
for
being in
sure.
England at this time, it's very cold, uncomfortable. Most people are inside their houses. We're not grounding, and all these things. When one has become sensitive, feels what it's like to not actually be grounding and not eating these foods.
Yeah,
Acceptance is going to be here. It's going to be the key for you. You have to accept where you are. If it's not something that you can do or incorporate with you, there's no point in trying to force anything. You just have to allow things to be, which is what you're doing and presented with. Let's get ourselves somewhere warm. Get as much information as you can in Brazil. See if you can find those people you used to stay with. See if they're open to, a certain portion of the land. Find out the laws and legislations of the land to see, but we've been looking at Bali, and if you purchase land in Bali, the land that you have is what you're entitled to do anything with it without planning. You can put as many homes on it as long as you don't go over your land. This is your land to do what you wish. And even if there was land purchase for growing food and land purchase for living on with small gardens, etc., and there was a community space where all the fruit farm was created, that's a still wonderful thing. You got your neighbors that you like, um or reciprocate energy with instead of having issues with, because I think neighbors themselves are programmed to be very conflictive in their nature. Um, it's a very
they can be.
strange
Yeah.
concept. Yeah, it's very strange.
Let me
Um,
just share this with you because, Brazil's a big place, right? So I've probably seen a tiny bit of it, but I also used to go to this island called Big Island, which is just 2 hours from Rio. I think it's still in the state of Rio anyway. Now, on some of these Brazilian islands, right, the laws of Brazil do not affect these islands at all. I came across this young man, a long time ago that was living on this island on a beach with these two Dobermans. I mean, Dobermans, blah, blah, blah. But this boy had been raised in a military family, and they're very, very programmed against cocaine and marijuana in Brazil. So his father caught him smoking pot and said, if I catch you again. So he did catch him again, and the boy found himself locked into a mental home in Brazil,
wow.
and he had to escape. So he managed to escape, went back, got the two dogs, and went to this island, because on this island, his dad can't touch it. He's been there ever since, living basically without money, using his charm to help people get to and from the boat and all around. Because on these islands, you're not allowed to go off the tracks into the jungles. It's very, very dangerous, as you probably appreciate, as you know. So he's been living there ever since. And so there's all these different islands where if you can get there, I mean, there's not even any roads up. This island has 102 beaches, right? So it's absolutely massive. And there's one road on the entire island, which is about 200 yards long. And there's one police car which drives up and down this one road on one tiny bit. So if you're over there, and I saw these people catching squirrels and put them in cages, which isn't very nice. But I went back and told the police, and they just sort of laughed at me and went, well, if we ever over there, we'll do something about it. So there's all these sort of places where people wouldn't even care if you're there or not.
No, and like you say, police can only operate really on the road systems.
Yeah,
As you go
they
further to
do
the
have
countryside,
boats.
you'll realize that you see very little policy, and it's really for cities, and it's keeping, the policy enforced for the trust. It's a wonderful system, and that's why sort of 90% of the earth is still free left.
Wow, that's a really good thought, isn't it? 90% of the world is free.
Yeah. We've
Crazy.
got so much room, so much, I think a lot of minds think that we don't live in abundance already. I think we throw away half our food. We got an overproductive food system. It gets thrown away and wasted, yet we still see people starve just due to the nature of what this place is. And again, everybody has the opportunity in each moment to take choices. Whether or not someone fears or lives in illusions and it holds them back, the very holding back is the nature of the suffering. The suffering then is a drive, and it continues until someone actually makes an action for change. And that's why it's so important to keep applying your actions, have experiences, and overcome every single doubt that one has. Because that freedom that when you find through breaking through that boundary is the same sensation that you feel when you become free from ego. But that doesn't last.
Right. That's interesting.
You're consistently happy.
Okay, right. Maybe you could help me understand this, or I think I know the answer, but about 3 years ago, I go up to Loch Ness every year because one of my best friends lives up there. And the Scottish people, their diet is pretty basic, really. They eat the same stuff. So I go to Morrison's with her in Inverness, which is a huge supermarket. And in the vegetable section at the beginning are all these masses and masses and masses of Brazilian roots and Brazilian stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my friend, well, the Scottish people are not going to eat that. They won't even know what that is. So I bought a big manioc root to make something with. And I got to the till and I said to the woman, how many of these have you sold? And she went, well, that's the first one. What is it?
Wow.
So there's people that don't get enough to eat in Brazil. So are these fruits being flown across the world to places like the Highlands where no one's going to eat them? So they just stay in the supermarkets for a couple of weeks and then they go to landfill because no one's going to eat them.
You think about how much margin that these shops must have on the fruit products themselves to be
Yeah,
able to
that's
waste
exactly
so much food. And
scary.
that's if we just had direct contact with these sellers, we would have fruit at such a reduced rate. And this is where we're going to now. It's just on the horizon. The wonderful beings that we're in touch with who are creating this platform, Awake Me, which is a platform that's having his own cryptocurrency, his own NFT system. It's um, how could I say it? It is uncensored, uncensorable platform for everything. For example, like YouTubers or for businesses of all kinds. It's so much deeper than I can explain right now, but it's probably going to be live around about April, May this year. And when that hits mainstream, everyone will be able to get everything they need direct. I think Amazon's going to take over with inside delivery systems. The big trucks aren't necessarily going to be doing much apart from shipping from country to country. There'll be distribution centers, and then it'll go straight out to people. So you'll be able to click online, get food from the wholesalers that'll be delivered, the same day, next day by Amazon. And then everybody's going to be able to get things at such a reduced rate from this type of system. We just have to wait. Everything's aligned because the actions that we have taken, the balance is changing, and because the awareness has expanded to this perception, the limitation has to be broken within inside the physical. We still
Fantastic.
see unconsciousness, though. We will still see unconsciousness, and we will continue to shed light as much as we can on it.
And just as a quick note before I leave, I am attempting to live in the moment, which, you know, obviously I'm not, right? But the other day I had this one day I got up and I was just such in a positive mood, right? And nobody got in my, every time someone stepped in my way or whatever, you know, I was able to deal with it in such a beautiful way. I was really proud of myself at the end of the day, right? And then the next day dawned and it was like 1,000 times worse. I mean, every single person stepped in front of me. And I'm thinking, is this how it works? Because I failed the next day completely. I was like, get out of my way. What are you doing?
So your experience is that to which you're perceiving, and even the expectation of the day happening the same is going to take you from that presence. So you're walking through life without any expectations, just happy in yourself. Thus, the
Yeah.
experience you have in that day is going to be beautiful with everyone and everything. You see life for what it's doing. It just does. It just is what it is. You have no will, no control over it. You're just this consciousness seeing and observing it. But it's a growth. It's definitely a slow and steady thing that can happen instantaneously if you can dedicate and devote yourself to consistently being in that nowness,
Mm.
without diverting any attention. Your manifestations come into play with just small amounts of attention. Sometimes that's a bit more than 5 minutes. Let's say someone was looking for a car and they spent, I don't know, an hour a day looking for the most perfect car that they wanted. And they only had a certain budget. And then something's going to align. I had a situation with someone that I've been helping for a while, and they only had £250 to spend on a car. And their attention was given to this car. So they spent, each waking moment trying to find something. They went and viewed a car. They managed to find there was a BMW 1 Series for £250. That BMW 1 Series had something wrong with it. They were told that it was a turbo and something else, which is quite expensive, but it would last a little bit. So he was going to drive it around. His friend's a mechanic. He bought the car for £250, took it to him to have a look. And he found out that all it was a loose oil filter. So he was replacing oil, thinking it was the turbo burning the oil up, driving around. When his friend took a look, he replaced the oil filter for £8, and now the car works absolutely perfect. So that situation aligned with the intention, and it just manifests when you do these things perfectly.
Mm.
Because you couldn't have a more perfect car being delivered to someone for £250 when the whole car functions perfectly, and the car's now reliable and efficient, and it does what it does for him. But it's these things, we give our attention to social media, we give our attention to things that don't necessarily bring any manifestations into your life. Attention. If you wish to be free, there's this opportunity right here and right now, and it's effortless. You need not do anything, and it
Mm.
exists for everyone. But your attention can be slipped and given to this mind state, which is absolutely the identity of the person. Attentiveness. Be attentive and focused on this moment, and allow your attention to fall from ego to presence. Your day that you experience in your blissful state, you don't need to recreate it again, because that's the past. You need to be open and free. So don't pick up any aspects of yourself when you get up in the rising. Don't say, who am I, and this t-shirt belongs to me. There's none of these things that truly exist, because everything that you're seeing is really truly inside of yourself. Every person that pops up into your day, the dream that you had last night, are you able to remember your dreams? Are you able to,
Sometimes, yeah.
yeah, real vivid dreams? And if you dream a very similar reality to you have now, maybe you could dream that the cats there have bigger ears and they can fly, and you watch them fly. But
Very bizarre dreams, yeah.
it's a very real reality, and it's no
In the
different.
past, right, I had this one dream when I was in a relationship. I had this dream and it was absolutely frightening that I was raped by a horse while these two dogs were watching. Now, when I started to research dreams to find out what that meant, and I came to the conclusion that when you dream of a horse raping you or having sex with you, it means your partner is being unfaithful. And he was. But that one stayed with me because it was so vivid. It was like 35 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, at the moment, I'm having dreams that don't seem to make much sense. I don't recall too much of them, you know?
Yeah, just see them as experiences, and leave them where they are, because you in this present state doesn't you don't need to make sense of anything if you're truly looking for the ultimate, because you are the ultimate, and all things that arise here that you're trying to make sense of, if you switch your inner dimension, contemplate and see that you're watching your person search for something from your true self.
Hmm.
So all you need to do is find your way back to yourself, which is only found in your contemplation. It's a switch in your function, and that's all it is. It's only down to your limited perception as a person that all these things arise. So step back and see that I'm actually truly watching my person search for the very thing which I am. I can never be found because I'm seeing this. All things seen arise from within me. Even the awareness itself, you become aware of the mind, you become aware of this body, you become aware of this nature of spirit. But what sees the awareness and the things that become aware inside of it? It's the seer. It's not an easy operation, but it is available here always, always.
Well, I better let someone else ask their questions now because I feel like
Great
I'm
to
just
speak with
chatting
you.
now.
Great to speak with you,
What?
dear brother. It's really great to speak with you. I'll talk closer.
You
I can
do,
see.
Josh, and
Yeah.
you look exceptionally healthy and well as usual.
Mm.
When you get your new microphone, because you don't have a very light voice, do you? Like me, it's very soft.
Yeah, it's not nice to talk loud for me. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Have a
thank you
beautiful
very
day.
much.
It's such a
You
pleasure and
too.
an
I
honor
bow
to
to it
spend time
all.
with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I love it.
We love
Thank you
you
very
so
much.
much. We love you so much. Mm,
Me too.
we do.
Thank you so much. Love
Mm.
to everybody. All right. See you soon.
See you soon, brother.
Bye. Oops, I just turned that on.
There we go. Sister area. I let me know again if my microphone goes a bit quiet. But this one I really do have to talk close into it, which will be changed by next Sunday.
New camera. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Mm.
All right, I'll put it on. Hello. Oh, we got
Hello.
one.
How are you all?
Good.
Oh, that's great.
He's running to get Alana. But hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm,
Your microphone has gone silent, sister. I don't know why. It skipped a small bit and then it went silent. Still silent.
oh, yeah.
There we go. That's wonderful.
Okay, I think it's muted. But yeah, I'm. Oh,
I want to see the shirt.
okay. Let's see.
Hello.
Uh, hello.
Hello. Mm. That's a nice stripy jumper you have. Oh, t-shirt you have on. What's that? Are you building today? Are you building? That's incredible. I love it. Well done. You'll have to build us some houses in a great community of fruit trees. Oh, that's wonderful. What is that one? Can you tell me? We have lost you again, sister. Something keeps unmuting. I don't know if you have like
Yeah, I know. I think when we move onto the screen, it
Yep.
seems to. You can hear us?
Yeah, I think you might have a bad signal, and it's better when you have it off the screen. But we do love seeing you. If you're on your phone, maybe there just might be a bad bit of signal where you are. Everyone looks happy and everyone looks healthy. Oh, we can't hear you, just to let you know again, if you are saying anything. We asked to unmute you.
Unmute. Okay.
I can hear you
okay.
now.
You can hear me. Okay. Right. So I just had a bit of a challenge with fruit this last week or so. So I had to start eating other like sweet potatoes.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to eat some other stuff, and I'm trying to be in that space of allowing with it and just get back on the fruit. So I'm just building up my fruit supply so I can be more fruit again.
Rice potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah. So I just have to just work with it and
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, depending on what you're consuming, I can give you some advice on what's better for you, so you don't necessarily feel any symptoms when you eat certain foods. That is amazing.
yeah, I see it.
Incredible. Well done. I love it. I love it. And there's another one. What's that?
Oh, it's a train.
Oh, wow. Do you like to see how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to take mine.
Is that an electric train?
Yeah, I got mine.
Does it work off free energy?
Yeah.
Have you got to pay for it?
Yeah, I think it can work off free energy. What do you think?
Yeah, but it just needs to have.
Does it work off love, maybe? Is that a love train?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Wow. And does it carry fruit to everyone? Does it take fruit to everyone?
What is a steam engine?
It's a steam engine.
Oh.
Yes.
You could steam your potatoes on the on the exhaust.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are consuming things like grains, rice, beans, potatoes.
Well, I don't want to. I just tried rice and no, it was really, really, really bad.
Yeah. Okay. So rice.
I've just potatoes at the moment. Sweet potatoes and potatoes. You had rice and beans, so we've just fallen off.
Yeah. So rice is really heavy. I would say if you're gonna have it, don't have it really more than once. A strong because it does become quite. You're feeling it lymphatically.
I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So potatoes. I mean, best one being squash, then the sweet, then the white potato. If you are having potatoes, there's a very different starch with the new potatoes. It's not really a very starchy thing. So if you do have a potato, try new potato, and just steam them and have loads of avocado with them or whatever you do have, cucumbers, tomatoes, lemon juice. That is the best potato that you can have. If you do a search, I think right now you'll probably find, if anyone does it, that I don't even think there is a starch formed within inside the new potato yet.
All right. Okay, that's good to know. I don't really want to keep doing it, but it's just just without bananas. Then I tried to eat bananas and it just made my face unhappy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was just
Just do what you need to do. Experience what's it being experienced, because it's obviously something that's is here for you to recognize. If you do start, that's, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing it with me. I look forward to seeing them soon.
oh.
But yeah, so how long do you think you're gonna have to do it for? I mean, don't judge it and don't feel like
No, I'm
anyone's
trying not to
judging you.
judge it. At the beginning, I was feeling like all these emotions, like despair and like panic. I'm gonna die if I eat this. But I worked through it. Oh, I didn't die. I got through it, and I have got an increase. Yeah. Oh, that's fair for the train. I mean, I feel quite bad in terms of my skin, like eczema, and it's making my hands crack, my fingers at the joints, like cuts, painful cuts.
Okay.
So it's not, my body can't deal with it, basically.
Yeah.
Although
I would just suggest probably best place is Little Aldi for squashes because of the price. I would just only consume squash really. If you do, squash is going to be the one that's going to keep you away from feeling and having these symptoms.
Okay, squash.
Yeah. If you go to Sainsbury's, I think they're going to be quite expensive. They do have I think about twice as much though.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get on the squash.
Squash. You can have roasted squash in the oven. Just cut it straight down the middle, scoop the skins out, and leave it in. You can do that for everyone. Very easy. Put a little bit of thyme on top, and it's nice. And just have some. Do you still consume salad, things like that? Some tomatoes, some cucumbers.
Tomatoes not so much for my body. It's kind of, but lemon. I found I didn't want to go the salt route, so I was just squeezing lemon on things, and I seem to be able to tolerate that now. So
yeah. All right. Well, if you do lemon and thyme on top of your squash and leave it maybe at like 180 for about 2 hours, it really gets very soft and caramelizes. It's very sweet. So you'll probably enjoy that very much rather than sweet potato and potatoes.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Okay.
But you won't feel any of these symptoms either.
Butternut squash. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Because I'm sure what, like with L'Oreal, he's getting to the point where he doesn't really want potatoes so much.
Good.
He just feels it in his body after a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they sit with you, don't they? Very heavy in the lower intestines. Feel it. Squash will liberate you, set you free from this.
Okay, we'll go squash until, because pears, I got a load, but they're just taking ages to ripen, and I can't really manage at the moment the volume of watermelons combined with mangoes. Like it was easier with bananas because you can get more of them. Just to try and manage. I need to spend like £1,000 a month on fruit, and it's a bit much. I need to reduce that somewhat.
Is there no wholesale fruit markets around you at all?
I have looked into one, so I did get a delivery from one, but it's because I don't have a car. I can't go to the one and like pick up. Not just at the moment. But so I got a delivery, and I can get like 26 kilos of pears for £59. So that's £4.57 a kilo.
See, the market that I go to here, for example, a box of oranges, which is around about 15 kilo, costs £8.
Okay.
Hello, beautiful. Hello. Aww. You got a lovely mummy, haven't you? Can you give mummy a kiss on her cheek? Can you kiss mummy?
Oh, you're giving me.
Your mummy's very strong. That was very kind.
You gave very. Oh, kiss on my sleeve. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so lovely. And apples, for example, depending on which ones you have, you can get a whole box of apples for around about £9.
Ah,
And
I see.
you know, that's the type of wholesale market. I know there's one in Birmingham, but it's
Yeah.
more of a distribution center rather than a whole, like it is a wholesalers, but it's a distribution hub. So we'll have a look, see if we can find any
Oh,
places. That's what one needs to be able to try to get.
yeah. I need boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting massive amounts from the supermarket, but it's not quite
So
working.
expensive as well. It's so expensive
Yeah.
compared. I mean, I was able to find boxes of 3 papayas. They are this big, and they were £2 a papaya. Normally you'll be paying £5 or £6 wherever you go. Watermelons for three large watermelons is £4.50.
Ah,
So
that was in a wholesale market.
this is in Bristol wholesale market.
Bristol. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I don't know whether London, like the Covent Garden, is just getting there, and I think there's wholesalers around there. But London seems a little more expensive. Well, I don't know. I haven't been, but
No,
it's not the place to be fruitarian, I don't think.
no, but I think if you find even Asian markets and places like that, they have to have that
Yeah.
hub somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to get involved. They usually shut early before 10 o'clock. So you get yourself to there, you look inside, and there's usually one market inside the whole of the markets that basically sell the fruit that is riper than the rest. And that one there is the one you want because everything is
Yeah.
perfectly ripe for you and then reduced as well.
Yes, that's definitely. A friend was mentioning there's a sort of a Asian supermarket that might have boxes of mangoes, the nice mangoes, the small
Yeah.
yellow ones.
But again, I mean, you may pay a lot of money for them.
All right.
It's awkward. It's really finding those markets that have the right fruit. You just have to go on an adventure or search, and then we'll see what we can do to help you in any way that we can. Finding that solution is key for you, really.
So I just feel like I'm feeding like parasites and all that we're dying off.
You're not. You're doing fine. You don't need to cause any.
No.
You don't need to cause any worry. And you never know. This might be exactly what you needed.
Yeah, maybe I needed to just eat some food because I was getting really hungry and I wasn't eating enough fruit. Yeah.
Give you that
Fill
drive.
myself up.
Push all the other stuff out with some squash.
Okay.
Do you have a steamer or do you just boil it?
Yeah, I just steam it on a little steamer thing in the pot.
Yeah. So you know, don't forget that a low oven temperature is good. You can continue to do what you need to do. They're very big. Children will love them as well. They will absolutely love squash if you do it right. It caramelizes in the oven, and you haven't got to do much to prepare it. It's a big, hearty, strong meal, and then give your children whatever they like alongside of it. Do what you have to do. And I did send you a mail today. Did you get it?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's okay. And we'll be in touch and look forward to helping out as much as we can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
There's a comment here.
Just had a really
there's an app called Too Good To Go. Have you seen that app before?
No, I haven't.
They've stated it. I've seen it as well. So basically, what they do is their shops that have all their fresh fruit, and by the end of the evening, they send text messages or they put out a notice to say they have this many bags of boxes of fruit that will be going off, you know, over the next day or two.
Oh.
And they go from like £20 down to like £3.99 or £4.99.
Oh.
So you can arrange something to be picked up or sent to
Too
you.
good to go. All right, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, because it's when they reduce it, it's the best fruit. It's ripe.
And it's amazingly priced.
Yeah.
Okay,
amazing. I'll check that out. Because then I went from trying to make everything organic to like nothing was organic, and then it was like, okay, I just need to buy potatoes at this point. So yeah.
If you do have potatoes again, try the new potatoes. You'll feel they're very good on the body. And if not, stick to your squash. We love you, and we love all your beautiful children.
Thank you. It seems like I have about 10. Just the 2.
the energy of 10, the strength
Yeah.
of 10.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Oh,
And
lovely.
there was just, or I'll just have one question.
Yeah.
Quick. Because, yeah. You ask your question then.
What's your question?
Can you go to Jupiter?
Can I go to Jupiter? Can I tell you one secret?
Yeah.
I created Jupiter. And so did you.
What?
I created Jupiter,
We created you.
What?
and so did you, but I'm going to teach you how to find out that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you go to sleep at night and you have these wonderful dreams,
Yeah.
who creates the dream?
I don't know.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you try to find out by sitting down and you could say thinking a little bit, contemplating on that dream and who created it? So you could keep asking yourself, how am I going to find out who created this dream?
Okay.
And you'll realize one thing, and I'll talk to you about it next time, okay?
Okay.
So the dreams that you see, who creates them? That's what I want to know.
Okay. That's a good question. He's a really strong dreamer. Really vivid dream.
Good, good. And keep looking after each other. Make sure you keep looking after your mummy with those big, strong muscles of yours and your little sister. Okay. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing all your special little building toys and creations with me and with us all. And have a beautiful day. I love you. Take care. Bye. Bye. So lovely. Sister Karen, please come in.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
So
today,
lovely to
sister?
see you. I'm doing really well.
That's so good to hear.
I'm doing really well.
Come back here. There we
Oh
go.
yeah, I can hear you better now. Yeah, I have one question. Now I have a few. Well, so this for 2 days I've had a swollen underneath my eye. So I woke this morning just a bit worried because I obviously don't want to go to the doctor.
Mhm.
I'm not really ever so worried, but because I don't want to go to the doctor. So I have put chamomile tea bags. So I'm still in my pajamas because I was doing that and I really wanted to make your call. So would that be enough to you? There's nothing apparent. I have done some of your recipes where I added a bit of salt. I'm not sure salt does agree with me.
Yep.
However, it's one eye. So
Is it a
yeah,
tiny ball?
no, I can't really. There is a little small spot that is a bit tender, but it's not like a ball.
No, it just feels sore. Yeah, it's more.
It feels a little bit sore, and then it's like so a bit, water, obviously swollen.
It will come and it will go, and you need not worry about anything like that at all.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, don't ever worry about these types of things. Just these small
Yes, nothing
manifestations.
major.
No, you'll be fine. And again, when we do go to the doctors and we try to seek the remedy for it, naturally they dissipate and go down. So we take the medication and we believe it's the medication, but truly the body was dealing with it in the first place. And the body has to deal with these toxins as well. So it's really more of a slower process. But yeah, it's something that we go through. If you have a blocked tear duct, you may just have got something in your eye, or you may have an expression leaving your body that was there in itself. So I would definitely not worry about these things and watch your body do what it does. A few days, you'll probably be over it. And yeah.
And just do the chamomile would be good.
I mean, it's entirely up to you. That's your journey. So
Right.
you do that if you feel like it helps you. For me, obviously these things are a part of the start of the journey where you test and observe, but you just leave the body to itself. Make sure that you just clean and give it what it needs, and it works absolutely perfect. The nature of the world itself, you may have picked up certain bacterias or anything, but depending on what you're doing is for observing. So if you did add salt, then you'll see that sometimes when you do add salt, you may find canker sores or something inside your mouth, some eye styes filled up.
Okay. So
So
it could be.
yeah, I mean,
Noticed that
absolutely,
maybe.
yeah. And
Hmm.
but again, that will dissipate down if you continue to use salt. It's your choice, it's your fine. It's absolutely fine. But the reason is these recipes that we're putting out at the start are
Yes.
for experience.
Yep.
You can add no salt, but they're not going to taste
Mm.
like what the experience you're looking for. So when you, I don't know, I have another one to put out today, which is a try-for. It's a
Okay.
trifle,
Yeah.
and these things don't need any salt. So
No.
moving towards a space where there's no salt, where you can create treats, cakes, and trifles, for example. But if you're wishing for these experiences, we're gonna do the curries, etc., coming up in a few days. Their taste is they taste exactly like a korma, for example. And if you're looking for the korma, you have to have salt. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. There's no point in experiencing something that isn't what you wish to experience. And then really you're directed to fruit. So essentially, while we're in the Babylon and we are consuming these things, fall into acceptance or try to get the ripest fruit you can and consume that. Otherwise, surrender these thoughts that come with it. Watch the body in a stand. When I do add salt, this happens. When I don't, this happens. And then you just continue to maintain your balance. So just try to foresee where you wish to be, and then try to consume that on a balanced level, and then you'll find stasis again. But if you keep killing, parasites and hosts and then reliving them, there's going to be a push-pull relationship between you and them. So you'll experience symptoms. Sometimes you may feel like you're constantly detoxing if you've become kind of out of balance with your eating. But if you are living, for example, a really nice way to live in England would be to maintain fruit based and have an evening meal, maybe about 5 or 6 o'clock, and then have some fruit before you go to bed. Sits on top of it, has the great enzymes, good bacteria. You feel full, which is what most people are looking for, a bit of fullness. When you went to Mexico, can I ask, did you consume a lot of fruit, or were you having like restaurant meals, etc.?
Oh no, really most of my diet is fruit. So although I've done some of these recipes you're putting out, I was wondering that, do I need much of that? And I never put as much salt as you anyway. I never used to add a lot of salt to my food anyway.
Yeah.
So I didn't put as much as you in. But I love the avocado sauces that you're making. They're really, and I would have, like you say, like one meal. But predominantly, I've always done the orange juice in the morning with the squeezing the orange juices. So it's really would be useful if I can get that cheaper. And eating whole fruits. So in Mexico, I did find that lovely shop that had juices, and mainly, and they were litres and they were quite cheap. So freshly squeezed. So I was still able to maintain the orange juice.
Good.
And I had watermelon, the coconut water. I did passion fruit, I think, one day. Pink grapefruit, that was absolutely delicious. So I had quite a lot of that day. And bananas, and avocado. You could peel them like this and just eat them. They were just so ripe, and not like we get some that are black sometimes.
The bananas.
Avocado.
The avocado, yeah.
Yeah, literally you could peel it. And the bananas, I have quite a few bananas.
They become quite translucent, and I don't know, you can see the ripeness of them, and yeah, so different. You would never experience it going to your local supermarket in Europe or England.
No. So in Mexico, I probably did more, and I only had one restaurant meal. So that's really what I was doing. And I miss that so much.
Okay. And how was it being able to experience it? Was it amazing for you?
Well, that was what I was going to speak to you about as well, because I've kept my vibration higher since I've been back. I just feel full, and just kept in that happy mode, and it's just amazing. absolutely amazing. And so in some ways hard to come back, because the freedom in, obviously, because I went on my own, to everybody, I did take the journey on my own. I knew some people out there, but I didn't see that much of them. And I had loads of adventures and experiences that were quite, I met so many people through being on my own. The whole thing was just, and feeling so well and healthy with the sea and the sun. And yes, I'm going back soon.
Yes.
I'm going back soon, because I think I'm going to see how this life suits me. You know, is this somewhere I want to go with this, like you're doing? Is this where I want to go to move? I may come back and forth to the UK, but maybe I could do that.
Maybe
And,
as a holiday, quickly. And
yeah,
then
I'm going to have a quick
Yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. So I've kept that vibration,
That's
and I
beautiful.
feel wow, and the well-being is so important to that happiness, isn't it? To your vibrational happiness of being happy.
Also, you've had the inspiring effect of nature itself and what it's like to be somewhere where you should exist rather than somewhere where we
Yes,
shouldn't exist. And now it's staying with you because
yes,
you want to get back there. So keep that fire burning inside of you and allow
yes,
yourself the opportunity when it comes to just take it. And if you do have the opportunity, keep surrendering any fears that you have, because you know
yes.
that there is how you should, or we all should be living.
Yeah, I maneuvered it all really well, and everything went smoothly on the whole. And it was just an incredible experience, absolutely. And yeah, I think huge changes I feel coming, and preparing myself for that then.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I did something not a lot of people would even try.
No,
And
well
it
done.
was, yeah, so it was absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
And so partly this is why I wanted to speak to you, because around me, my dad's not in great health. My sister-in-law just been diagnosed with a tumor on her colon.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep, and so it's almost like you shouldn't be happy around them, because they're facing all of those things, and you know, and we're compassionate, and we're feeling for them, and you almost want to dip, that energy almost dips. But I would pass them to you, Josh, but before I even met you, I've been on the journey of health and knowing things I can pass to people, which is partly what I would always do, and I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not open, you know, they would make fun of me being the doctor, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't help them. It makes my heart, you know, bleed. But I kind of came to the realization, and I know the journey, I know it's a solo journey, I know I'm source, you know, and I know, and all of that helps. And I just kind of said to because I know my sister-in-law's looking up the things and panicking, and I just said, healing's your only option. Just have that focus, that healing's your only option. I don't know how else I can help, and I have to keep, I know actually keeping my vibration high is actually in a way helping perhaps them. So
Yeah,
I don't know if you could just give me some, like, you know, because you're probably going to say things I realise, but maybe you're just going to say something that's helpful.
Just don't change and be yourself.
Okay.
And never,
Yeah.
you know, expect to think for them. If they are seeing or being uncomfortable around your positivity, to be honest, it's only going to correct the imbalance inside of them. Eventually, they will end up coming to the light because the light is too powerful. So you don't need to say anything, but if you continue to be yourself, they'll always ask questions because they're going to be interested in how one is maintaining such a high vibration. It's just the
Yeah.
laws of everything, you know. So, yeah, the most important thing is not to, when you feel like their thoughts are coming here about your happiness, that is your illusion, that is your mind and your perception. That
Yeah.
has to be surrendered, and you have to be able to express yourself honestly wherever you are.
Yeah.
And wherever you are is absolutely perfect. So every time that you express yourself honestly, that perfection is perfect, which then causes perfection to be expressed. It will open them up, it will expand them, and it will help them become closer to the steps of healing just by you being yourself without any expectations of others, especially the thoughts. It's a nice thing that we do as a person, to think for others, but again, it doesn't have any remedy within the universal law. It
No.
only holds people. It's like somebody that's bedridden, and then because they're bedridden, they're not having a life experience, so you feel like taking them some chocolate or some cakes is going to give them something to feel special in bed, and you're just causing that suffering by giving them something which is not freeing for them. So
Yeah.
don't mask yourself. Keep
No.
masking yourself and be it, because you're a beautiful being, sister.
Oh, thank you, Joss. That has really helped, because that's what I thought. That's I just have to be that light, don't I?
Yeah,
You
and
know.
keep surrendering to yourself. Every time these things arise, realize, that I have to express myself here. And the mind itself wants the ego. See, the egos communicate with each other on an unconscious basis. Sorry, I've moved the image here just
Yeah, I
because
can
it's a
see.
bigger
It's
screen.
all right.
So yeah, the egos communicate on such a level, and when you step back from that, you really see it. And this is why it's so easy to see enlightened people from egoic people. So you be the separate one, and then that conflict that arises within them from your perfection is just purifying to them. It really is. It's
Yeah.
purifying. But you don't need to get engaged energetically again and let your ego become identified with that process. It's just freeing and surrendering and being yourself. And you don't need to change anyone's will, which you obviously know you've accepted.
Yes.
So that's a
Yeah.
great process. And yeah, whenever you go there, take your juice. Don't need to say anything. You don't need to say you should try juice. You just eat. You just have your juice, and then they continue and continue until it opens up for you. That opportunity will arise, especially with your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And we wish her all the best, and we all
Yes.
send our
Thank
love,
you.
and she'll
Thank you.
always be in our hearts. But her journey is her journey.
Yeah, this is what I feel. I just have to be the love, keep the love, and yeah,
Stay
yeah,
present.
that's really helped. Yeah, thank you.
Keep searching for that opportunity again, and if you find anything or any opportunities, make it aware within the X family. We can do
Lovely.
posts. It's very important, that we can start communicating with each other, because as these situations that were there causing us problems to travel,
Yeah.
they're starting to open up now.
Yeah, I didn't have much trouble. The airports, then they're not all the checks going on that you think are happening and stuff there. And obviously I could go to Mexico. You don't need vaccines, and it was all not too bad. Yeah, not too bad.
We
So
love it. We love it.
I navigated my way the best I could, mask wise, and I didn't, obviously I wore my badge that I was exempt, but I didn't have any aggros, and it was not so bad.
That is incredible. And I know that we do have someone that just popped on, Brother
Yeah.
Gabby, who's been experiencing life in the Dominican Republic.
Oh wow!
I think for a month now. So I would like to get him on in a minute and have a chat with him.
Yes, because I think I don't think you need to have PCR tests or vaccines for there either. No.
And
No.
what's happened now within the world, you could say, me and Sister Michelle, we kind of focused a small amount of our own intention, maybe about 5 to 10 days ago, on aligning this fruit forest, and having the world open up. And then I think 2-3 days ago, it's very funny. You could call it a coincidence. The World Health Organization has told everybody that these restrictions and travel are not working. So every country themselves is putting out small stories to say that there's no longer a requirement of masks, these types of things, and the travel requirements are dying down. So we just have, I think, maybe 1 month to 2 before everything starts to really open up, and it gives us this opportunity to make these decisions and to go with it. So when those things align and open up, we'll be going to places to have a look at everything that we feel like is an opportunity, and then we'll be creating the groups so we can start speaking who's really interested and who has
it's
the intentions of
amazing
moving and starting to create. Because if there is an opportunity to make this move, it's very important for us that we do it as soon as possible.
Yes.
We're all in need of our fruit and family.
Yes, I mean it. Yeah, I've so missed it coming back. It's just, I just don't really feel belong in the environment I'm in anymore.
Yeah.
So no, it's wonderful what you're doing, Josh, and it's all very exciting, and it's great we're all here together, isn't it? So we can.
It is. Together, we work together, we become stronger, and we have more opportunities. It's more dynamic, and this is what it is. Working together is going to create such a great space for us all.
And support for each other, because it's all new, and coming out of your comfort zone, that's the thing of what you've always known. And yeah, so thank you so much for your love and kindness, Josh. I really
You're
appreciated
so
it.
welcome. Thank you for your love and your support, and I'm just so happy that you were able to have a great holiday and realize what it's like to eat ripe fruit in a warm environment,
Yeah.
on a beach, with land, soil.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And that sense of freedom from that,
Or
when
to
you
be
actually
fair,
realize that you're not really free, and then you experience freedom
yeah.
in that kind of way, it's just amazing.
Living in England itself, just for an example, I think most of Europe's, exactly the same. You don't realize until you become free from that you're just cycling in a system of commerce. It's perpetual commerce, and then what do you have in the winter? You have a house, then it's a box, and then you realize if the only freedom that one has is to get in a car and go to a shop to buy fruit, and you try to go for walks, you try to do these things, it's very cold, there's trees are dead everywhere, and it's very, very different. Then you go
Yes.
somewhere else on the plane and it's full of life, it's got clear skies. The oppressive chemtrailing here, or the cloud seeding, you could say, every day, isn't it? There's just every day, very few
Yes.
days that you will see a blue sky, and that is the nature of the busyness here as well. So
Yeah.
the lands that are here for us and for our inhabiting is a whole different weather system.
And the war, and obviously work, the war with K, as you say.
You need to work to own a car to drive to work in, to buy the food that you don't need that grows off a tree, and you live in that property. That house,
yes,
causes a lot
property.
of money with all the heating bills and everything that you don't need in a warm environment. If you were able to find perfect balanced land, which is essentially the goal, no heating, no cooling, just perfect.
Yeah.
And everything grows there. And that's essentially what we're trying to find, give or take a few degrees.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Josh. So great to speak with you today.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Do you have any more questions? Or?
No, it was only that Good to Go app. Did they deliver? Do they deliver to you that kind of food?
I think you collect.
Or you have to get it.
I think you collect.
Collect.
Yeah, but you could, if you had a few boxes, it may be worth your time paying an Uber or someone to deliver it to you, like a taxi
Okay,
man,
cool.
something like that.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
But yeah, it's a very good application, especially even people in Babylon that can't afford any type of food. They have all the sandwiches and everything racked up as well, and this app. So just have a look at the fruit boxes section, and you shall find very good reduced, probably $2.99, $3.99 boxes that were 15. So
yeah, okay, cool.
Them up.
Brilliant.
Have a beautiful day, my sister.
And you, love to Michelle and little X.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Take care, sister. Thank you. Brother Gabby, are you free for this very moment? There we go.
I don't know why my background is. How do I?
It's.
Do you hear me?
I do hear you, and I see.
Oh my God! This is.
It's perfect. Perfectly fine.
I'm sorry.
Are you back? Are you back home now?
Yeah, I just landed this morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was in the Dominican Republic until yesterday, and I experienced the same as Karen. It was my first time on fruits, ripe fruits from a tree that I saw, and I picked the fruit myself. It was awesome. And it was so freeing just to see how easy it is to just live. You know, I was like, I could live on the street here, right here, and I would be okay. How can I change this?
You must have. Are you on Zoom there?
Yeah.
If you go into like the arrow on your microphone that you see, it'll bring out like backgrounds, and I think you may have
Here.
a background there. But it's fine.
Here, yeah. Okay, now I got it.
There you go.
Yes.
You're just on that angle now.
So yeah.
There you go.
Hi everyone. Hi Josh.
Good.
Now you see me. I was in the sun. I tried a lot of stuff in those 3 weeks. I even tried urine therapy, or I don't know how you call that, because I was on fruits and I heard it was sweet, and then I tasted. I never wanted to. I heard of it, but I never wanted to. And then a friend of mine who's in Florida, he was like, "Yeah, I drink it, and I even eat potatoes." And I was like, "Oh my God, you do it?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's not really good, but it gets better every time it goes through me." And then I tried it, and it's really like coconut water. And it was a boundary, how you say. It was so freeing, because I was like, oh my God, I could just live. I always have this fear to lose everything and not know how to survive, and be a bum on the street. Like as a little kid, I always had this fear, like in my head, in the back of my head, and this just disappeared, because I was, oh my God, this is the trick. This is I could just live from my pee. Yeah, and then I even posted it. But today when I arrived at the airport, the first thing the Swiss police did is they took me out, because I didn't, with the biometric pass, they already, you're in the system, they know what you did, what you didn't pay, and I didn't pay. I didn't pay a bus ticket, because I didn't have a ticket anymore, and then I just rode the bus, and then the controller came, and it was like 80 francs. It's like, I think, 60 pounds. And because of that, they took me on the side, and then they did this whole thing. They wanted me to pay right there. And I was like, yo, I can pay it at home, right? And then they let me go.
Okay. So, can I ask a few questions?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any trouble getting from your hometown to Dominican Republic? Did you need a PCR test?
No. I actually just took the screenshot of my sister. My sister she has a certificate, but she did it with the anticorps. If you were positive, you can get a certificate, because you have the anticorps. You don't have to vaccinate. And I just took that screenshot. She just sent me the QR code, and that's how I got everywhere in the Dom Rep. You have to show it, but they don't do their job really good. As a really well. If you want to go to a supermarket, you have to wear the mask, but the security guy has it here, and he doesn't really look. He just has, he just look at your phone. You can just show him a fake negative test, anything, or but even to go there, they didn't ask anything in Switzerland or in dom rep, but to get out, I showed the screenshot of the QR code of my sister, and they didn't watch really well at the checking in Punta Cana.
I think all
Yeah.
this is going to be, you know, like I said, removing and going and dying down. Those people that are programmed, you know, that have to do their job as such, you know, they have to do their job and they got the fear of losing it if they don't. So it's going to start falling now, which is a great thing for everyone to get in their travel and start to see the world for what it is. But how are the fruits, brother? How are the fruits?
The papaya were great, godly. I don't know how to describe it, because here I always have to wait like 1.5 weeks until it's ripe. If I buy the papaya in the Aldi, and there you just had it, on the street. They always sell it, and I ate so much fruits. I really, because after the fast, I did 30 days of fast. I looked like a skeleton. Everybody told me, and I really looked like I saw every bone in my in my rib cage, but I didn't care. But then I filled up again because I was eating almost 10 kilos of fruits or more. I don't know, like one whole watermelon that was 6 kilos, and then 2 papayas, and then like 3 smoothies with each 4 bananas in it, because it just I could just eat and eat and eat, and it was fine. Okay, I felt full, but like only for half an hour, and then
your stomach
I could
has
eat.
the capacity, and you have a certain level of watery foods, it fills up, and then it just very quickly processes down, and you're ready for the next.
Yeah, but I always had to go to the toilet also.
Yeah.
It came out after 2.5 hours or something. It was so fast. I even pooed my pants once. That was really embarrassing in the supermarket. because it was so cold because of the AC, and then I just felt so bloated. I don't know, because it's like I had this weird experience with AC in these vacations, because it's so dry, the air, and then I get like a bloating, because I was also doing big breaths, complete breaths, and always like 3 times out, because that was also nourishing to just breathe. If I didn't have any fruits, I would just breathe. If I knew, okay, like the next 2 hours I'm not gonna eat any fruits, okay, I'm gonna breathe. Because I was always thinking, that was also my trap. I was always thinking, what am I gonna eat next? Which fruit am I gonna eat next? And I catch myself like overthinking too much about food. Because I wasn't thinking anymore anything else anymore. Like everybody was like, hey, yeah, you want to go to the beach? And I was like, yeah, if there's fruit, yeah, let's go. And there was fruit everywhere.
Good.
In every restaurant also. I was like the dessert, it was always a fruit plate. I would just eat fruit plates. Or if they didn't have any fruits, I just ordered a salad with lime as a sauce, and it was always okay.
And you had a good time. Enjoyed the weather.
Yeah. I even tried to get a sunburn, because I heard like fruits were like you heal faster, but I didn't. I was like for 7 hours in the sun, and I couldn't do that before. I hated the sun. Like before, I was the one walking in the shadow, and just not trying to get any darker as I am, because I felt like the sun always was burning, but it wasn't. I was never really hot, just a bit sweaty, but
What was the
it was
temperature?
really cooling. It was always around
go on.
25 in the night and over 30, 31 or 31 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. You
Yeah, it
can
was
really
hot.
get used to that, you know, once you've had a good experience with it and you have fruits, you tend to really acclimatize to that sort of temperature very quickly. And 24, 25 can seem cool. Did you find that when you were
Yeah.
there at the end? It's quite cool.
Every time they had the AC in the car or something, I was freezing almost, and it was only like 21 degrees.
Yeah. And you've come from a cold place before this, didn't you?
Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's windy and cold now. It's like 1 degree, 0 degrees here.
So do you have any plans to get back?
Yeah. I did like 4 Tupperwares full of papaya, but the problem was the papaya was it got like alcohol because I did like a ripe papaya in my Tupperware, and then it got warm, and then with the altitude, but it was still better than the things they had in the plane. And yeah, I had like two bags full of just like fruits to snack on the plane.
Good.
Just
Are you
so I didn't have
are
to
you thinking,
put
or
the
do you
mask.
have any plans? I remember you saying while you were there, your friend is looking to go back and create some land. Do you have any plans to go back to this place? Do you have any plans moving forward now you've experienced it? Has it given you a jump start into a future, you could say?
I don't even have any plans for here. I really want to go. I thought to doing. I thought like I talked to you about doing a business here about with juices and everything, and I really have the opportunity to do it. Like a lot of people want to help me. Already found how do you say, somebody who would like take every week. Uh, they do brunches every morning, and they would like my juice. But the thing is, it's so much work. I would like have to produce in the night, so it's fresh in the morning, like a baker. And I would like, I don't know. I want to experience more, but it's also something that I could do like for a year here in Switzerland. But
You've got such a
definitely
flamboyant
land.
you've got such a flamboyant energy, and when you apply yourself to yourself, I think that's all you need. You know, you have a great social media following. For you to have a journey, you know, if, I even seen that logo that you have now. That looks brilliant. So for you to have this raw journey, traveling would be the doorway to open up your level of abundance. That's all you need. You
Why?
need to experience traveling. You need to experience what
Yeah,
it's like going from place to place. A great vlog. Get yourself a nice camera and publish yourself often. And I think that's all you'll need. I don't think you need anything else. I think this is the opportunity you have that will then open yourself up to like a raw living channel where everything, or everyone that is in search of something like what you're doing is going to be such a great inspiration to everyone. So you'll find your niche through this. And again, if you're feeling like it's a lot of effort and a lot of toil, then that's another thing you should listen to, possibly.
yeah. Yeah, I even started in December with somebody who really he was more motivated than me, and then even invested in like so many machines without really. I was like, yeah, this machine is good, and then he bought it, and now because he saw that I was traveling, he was like, yo, you have to give me the money back and everything. And I was like, okay, like Switzerland is like really such hell. The
You just
first
got to
thing
be
he called me
honest
to do.
from the start. Be honest to him. Tell him exactly what your intentions were, and be honest. Open up and have, you know, a good grown-up dialogue there with him. If he bought it without your consent, you know, you have to be open and honest with him and express.
No, it was also my fault also, because
Okay.
I really we really wanted to do that, but then I told him, yeah, I want to go like for some time in a warm place to eat fruits, but then he didn't understand it really well.
Okay. I'm so glad that you
It's
had
no
the time.
problem.
I'm so glad that you experienced living food and a perfect climate for it. How were the prices? May I ask, brother? Were they good prices in Dominican?
It was really cheap. It was okay. If you went to a supermarket, it was still half the price of here. But if you went to a market where the Dominican people are, like on the market, farmers market, it was so cheap. It was like I did one. Okay, they knew I was a tourist, so they put the price a bit up. But I bought like for £15. I did a week's no, for 4 days. Yeah, I had fruits like two no, 3 watermelons, no, 2,000. That's more. That's not. That's 30 francs. I don't know how much pounds that is, but 3 watermelons, 6 papayas, 6 cucumbers, 6 zucchinis, also 6 tomatoes. Yeah, like for salads and fruits and everything.
Yeah. Was that picture you had on your social media where you had the table laid out and you had a few coconuts here and there?
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
It was beautiful.
There was even more.
It was really nice to see it, brother, to see you experience this, and I'm so happy for you. And this is all I want for anyone going through this process, is to see what it's like experiencing truth with food, nature, and to continue growing and expanding. So well done for breaking that chain. And I hope it's changed your life and it's given you an inspiration to go to plant more seeds, to be with nature, to be in the temperate zone of effortless experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna see what's gonna happen, because I really have no plan.
That's the best. That's the best.
Yeah.
Just watch life give you these opportunities, and when they arise, my brother, you take which opportunity feels right to you in that moment. You look
Yeah, I'm gonna do
healthy.
just that.
You look healthy, really healthy, brother.
Yeah, I was motivated to stay on fruits just because of the taste of the urine, because it tastes better when I was on fruits than when I ate a salad with like how these chives. Yeah.
That's good. So when I was younger, I think I would say about 19, there was a book called Your Own Natural Medicine, or Your Perfect Medicine. And it was a book on urine therapy itself, and it has so many different uses and so many different types of application for your body. It's a great book to look into, to learn. So if you are looking to learn, it's your Own Perfect Medicine, it's called. Have a look, have a read.
You're in perfect medicine.
No, that would be what I would create. Your own, sorry, it's Your Own Perfect Medicine. Your own, I'm going to try and find it about perfect medicine. And it should be like a book that's read. Yeah, urine therapy. Your Own Perfect Medicine. You can download it as a PDF and read it, so you don't actually have to buy the book itself. But it does explain what uses you can have. And aged urine itself is a stronger form of plasma. It's plasma, it's unused minerals within the body. People use it for so many different uses. And
Yeah, I didn't even read anything, or I just heard really a lot of people on Instagram talking about it,
Mm.
and I always thought it was gross. But then the more I listened to them, and and then my own friend, who I know isn't only on fruits, you know, he just eats whatever he wants, and then he told me, yeah, I'm doing this since 3 months, and I was like, okay, I think on fruits it must be better.
Mm. Yeah.
But I'm gonna check out this book, even though I don't really eat.
Mhm. You know, and when one applying this to themselves, you can try it on your skin lesions, you can try it on your eczema, you can try it on your psoriasis. If you ever get stung, you
I
can...
did it. I douched with it, and then I sunbathed.
Okay. Did you see any remedy, any benefits? Or...
Yeah, it was first it smells like pee, but then it just neutralized it. It didn't smell anything like anything anymore. Like after when it dried, and it was like after being in the salt water without salt.
Yeah.
Because every time I went into the ocean, after when I dried, I was full of salt. Like the salt was on me, didn't go inside of me.
Yeah.
I
Dries
never
nicely.
had that because I was just, yeah.
Yeah, it dries nicely and also acts as quite like a good protection from the sun. So when you're out in the sun and you're going in the sea and you come out, the salt's dry and it keeps a nice layer of protection for you. But with the urine as well, the urine therapy is down. There's something called uric acid, and you'll find that in most like medications, skin creams, etc., this is what's found inside of it. These properties are okay, and you know the baby when it comes out of the sac. This is a very similar fluid to urine. I think it's amniotic fluid. Um, the baby's skin's very soft, isn't it? And even if you look inside nappies, when
Yeah.
they're not Babylon nappies and you use real nappies, there's always a very soft layer. And this is why it's used in creams. But again, creams are there made to destroy the skin. You have to keep using them, etc. But the ingredients have been taken from truth itself. It's just not something, you know, you all experience it. You have to go through the cycling of it. And I'm sure maybe in a few years you would have passed that experience, but it's definitely worth going through. When you get stung by a jellyfish and you put the urine on it, there's a reason why it brings alleviation. And even if you have, for example, when you're stung by anything, the remedy is actually in the urine itself as well. So your body produces what it needs to be able to bring balance for it. So the best thing you can do at any given time of that is actually utilize the urine for that purpose. But learn and grow with it. Read that book. It's good, and try everything you can with it. See how it goes with you. But essentially, for healing, for us, this is why we haven't really spoken about the urine therapy very much, is because it always comes down to this water fast and fruit. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the best way to live. It's the best way. It's the most healing, and you'll find that even trialing it with people with chronic diseases, it doesn't really offer any solution as such. But I think it's more tend to the skin and the mind when you first start to experience it. But you start to feel elevated, maybe slightly.
No, it didn't really give me more energy on it or anything. I didn't really feel that. It was just freeing for the mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more that, because I didn't really long for it. I didn't want to like drink more and more. It was
I mean,
just
the sweet taste of
okay.
a juice compared to the sweet taste of your urine, or not the sweet, the bitter taste of your urine. You know, there's nothing comparable. So, you know, we focus on this, the fruit,
No.
the allegories that have come from scripture. You know, they say drink from your own well. I don't know if you heard this one being shared within the urine drinking
Yeah.
movement. Yeah, your own well just means don't trust any source of government water. You drink from your own source. Don't take any water from anyone or take anything that hasn't been created by this. It also relates to don't take food from someone as such, you know, the corporations and all these types of things. It all marries together. So that allegory or that sentence has been glamorized by that movement of urine therapy. And yeah, people have done age urine, but these people tend to still be sick, and there's no true remedy. You know, it's again like all of these machines, these plasma machines, or this hydrogen machines, oxygen machines, etc. Yeah, there's one thing reoxygenating the body for a small momentary period, which makes one's cells change rapidly in that moment. But the continual destruction happens from what we put into our mouths and our surroundings and the very thoughts that we have. There's only one true process. All these roads will lead one back to this very simple process. But I think everybody is entitled to the journey. So have a look into it. See how it makes one feel. If you wish to try it, try it. But we don't recommend it here because we've seen what it has, you know, what possibilities and capabilities it has, and it's just very limited.
Okay, yeah. And I have one last question.
Please, brother.
I had my teeth done when I was like 13, like not done veneers or something. It's just how do you say braces, exactly.
Yeah.
And I still have braces in the back, like to hold them together.
Mhm.
And I found out that exactly like it's the teeth that are hold together that are weaker, and I have all these holes exactly on these teeth.
Have they come from having a brace on there and then they were like mistreated when the actual brace is on the outside?
Maybe.
And then
I don't know.
Sometimes when you have like wrong foods, you could say, and these braces out there, did you have them cemented on each tooth outside the external brace here?
Yeah, but that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That I had a brace.
And
Braces.
They weren't like that then, or
no?
No.
It's just when I started like on fruits, I started to like the first months I only drank juice. Like it was like last year in April, and I forgot to brush my teeth, and then I ate cooked foods again, and I still didn't brush my teeth for 5 months, and then I saw it come, like all these and I was smoking also, and I was doing everything again, and then I started the fasting and the juicing again, and then like the holes got deeper, but I think it's like the candida dying off and just going because it has roots or something, and now it's still the same, but I was just asking. No, I think I have to, but I like to I have to remove this thing, right?
So
this
I would
metal.
say we're correlating what you said is whenever you eat cooked food, you have the bacteria in there. Okay, that bacteria there is corrosive to the body, it's corrosive to the teeth, it's corrosive to anything. So when you're on a fruit-based diet only, and then you start consuming these foods, and you're in that cycle of where you haven't been cleaning your teeth on a regular basis, that sits on the tooth. You'll find the film. You know, do you notice that when you have cooked food, that there's a film over the teeth rather than when you have the fruits?
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed and then you wake up and the rising is thick, and it's that's what's
Always when I drank Coca-Cola.
But even just cooked food, I mean, just cooked food. So when you
also but the last time I ate cooked foods, it was in summer, and in October when I started again the juice fast.
Because like I said previously at the start, when I was going through these testings myself, I didn't clean my teeth for 8 months, and I was just juicing and having fruits themselves, and I was swilling it around, and I was observing and testing and repeating and observing, testing and repeating. And it's only when you consume these cooked foods that you really need to worry about it, because that's when this bacteria builds up that breaks down all things like this. All I can say is to you, you know, when you do have to cook foods, or it's very important that you brush them off your teeth, because they
Yeah, I do now.
yeah, they cause corrosion. Things such as you know, blackening of the teeth, discoloration of the teeth, you'll get that off in time. The best toothpaste that we recommend, we've put on the website, is the charcoal bicarb coconut oil mix. You do that, and
Yeah, I did that.
you'll get rid of all the colors, you'll get rid of all the rotting of the teeth, etc. If the teeth are starting to break down, I mean, that's a different thing. And again, this is something that the body is needing to build or rebuild. It might be down to a very low gut bacteria that needs to be rebuilt to be able to restore and replenish the minerals within inside the body through the proper process of digestion. So just take a look at these things, watch yourself, make sure they don't get any worse. And if they are starting to get worse, you need to, you know, alter what you're doing. But if you're consuming the fruits themselves, your gut bacteria is going to be rebuilding. When you introduce other foods, just be slow in what you do when you're reintroducing other foods, and bring other bacterias or whatever's needed to digest that at that particular time in slowly, and then have that as a fundamental place where you like to exist with your food. And yeah, I mean, teeth do heal. There's a new study that's come out to say that teeth heal. And I can remember, you know, telling my mum when I was younger that my tooth had healed. Not many people would believe it, but the literature now says that it does. So you can actually heal teeth. Just be diligent in what you're doing, and give your attention to them, and watch them fix themselves.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a pleasure to
I'll
see you,
remove
and
it.
I'm so happy for the journey. And yeah, you look wonderful. You look great.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks for everything that you do, brother. Keep doing your social media. Keep spreading that love. And I wish you a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time. And it was really energizing talking with you again.
Missed you, brother. Well done for everything.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care.
Have a nice one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Go Sister Tara, and then we have Sister Rachel after. Hi, Sister Tara.
Hi, Josh.
So how are you today?
Hi. Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Very well. You're looking very vibrant and healthy.
Thank you. Well, I have a question about my dog today. So he is about 15 years old, and he has Cushing's disease. So he has a tumor on his pituitary gland, they said. And he's been on medicine for a while for it. So recently, like in the beginning of January, he started having seizures. He had about 6 of them now. And every time it's like horrible. You know, you feel like he's going to die.
Yeah.
So I go through it every time. But I got him on this medicine, which is keeping him like stable now. But he stopped eating now. But anyway, before I get there, I first wanted to ask you about the seizures, because when I took him to the doctor after the seizures, they said that they don't bother him because he doesn't remember them, even though they seem so horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And he screams first, and then he contorts his body, and then I'm holding him the whole time, and he can't move. You know, you don't want him to bite his tongue, and then he actually did bite his tongue. So he had blood. And so it doesn't look pretty, obviously, but I want to know what you think about what is a seizure. The doctor said it's like cells bursting. And I guess that means cells in his head bursting.
For me, the seizures themselves are only happening down to the electrical impulses that are unable to fire properly. So they're causing this instability within the flow of electricity within the body. So it's always down to sort of heavy metals,
Okay.
always down. And it's usually, well, it is a neurological thing. So the nervous system itself
Okay.
isn't firing. So then it has a block within inside its passing of electricity. So there's this trying to fire through it. You may have a blockage, or you may have a buildup of this heavy metal somewhere within inside his system,
Oh,
which just expresses in seizures.
huh. So what would that be? Like from the obviously the food in there must be in what
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
feeding him?
has he had vaccines through his life?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, vaccines and then food. If you have, in certain type, what sort of food was he brought up on?
Well, basically a really good dog food in the beginning and a good wet food, and then now in the last few years he's so finicky. He only eats like lunch meat, which is like he's been eating roast beef and turkey, and I have and I'm about to run out this morning and try to get something else. Like I was thinking, which I hate buying this stuff, even I don't even want to, but I know that's what he wants. But a rotisserie chicken or something like that's gonna get him wanting to eat. So, because now he stopped eating and I'm trying to pump him with all this medication. He's on like for one for the Cushing's and one for the, now for the seizures twice. And now he's having the runs. And, that was going to lead me to my next question, but go ahead.
How old is he? May I ask?
He's 15 to 16 years old.
So he's nearly, he's an old age pensioner.
Yeah. No, and I know that's
Okay.
happening. It's just my question is like, do you believe in euthanasia, or do you think like, because I don't think he's actually suffering so much right now, but I think like, if I saw him in distress, and I've done this in the past with lots of other dogs, would I take him to have him put down, or should I let like nature just take its course and just hold him like I do when he's having a seizure and just let, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Uh,
What I would suggest here is you don't want to be suffering at all from this experience here. This is, you'll end up falling trapped to the mind itself. And all you have in this moment is the capability to do what you know to be best. And the very nature of a dog being or existing in its position, like it is to you, is to surrender itself to something higher as a part of its journey as it's expanding. So that dog has full trust in everything and the capacity that you have to make the decisions for it.
right.
So if you think that your dog is suffering, what you need to do is not suffer by doing and applying what you know to be true. And if you feel like in your greatest decision-making capabilities that this dog is going to be more beneficial, or this dog is suffering and it's going to be more beneficial for him to move on to the next life, know deeply inside yourself that that energy is going to continue and it's going to be expanded. And I would say more than likely it's going to be into a human form because of the nature of this dog surrendering itself to the human. It has an opportunity to then become human. So it's going to be earthed into another expansive uh, body.
He could become a human from this experience.
Of course,
Wow.
the surrendering of oneself to another allows the capability for that expansion to happen faster for it. So all it's doing is consistently watching the human behavior within inside your home, and it's there as a pure love, friendship tool. As one's on their journey with this energy exchange between you and this dog.
Huh. That's interesting.
So
Well, I was going to ask you.
Sorry,
okay.
Please carry on.
If his consciousness was going to go like where mine is going to go, or do animals' consciousnesses go to a different place?
No, you're never separate. You can never be separate, ever. It's the illusion of separation. So he is actually a part of yourself in your grand expression of figuring this out within inside the dynamic life that we see. So no, he will never be separate from you. The consciousness that is inside of him is the consciousness that is inside of you, but it's fragmented through the mind of belief. So you're not really this body, you're not really anything. You're this dreamer of this wonderful dream. So the dream's going to continue, and he's going to be a part of it. So the dream that he's going to be experiencing
I hope
must
so.
be a different form. Of course, absolutely. There is no theory. It's an absolute fact. Absolute knowing. He will continue to exist. He can never die. Not even a dog can die. Only the body falls.
Right. Huh.
So
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
he has a new life waiting for him, and it's inevitable. And we must realize this. When someone dies, we should celebrate the life that we had, the time that we got to experience with it, and wish them well on their new endeavor to continually expand their self.
Okay. Wow. That makes it feel a little bit better. Thank you. It's a little lighter because it's been hard having this happening. So anyway, trying to make a decision, but
Is there anyone
anyway,
pregnant now in your life? Is there anyone pregnant that you know?
someone in my brother's family in Florida, his daughter-in-law is pregnant. That's the only person I can think of right now.
Just sit back and see if things align and see and observe.
Okay.
If he does pass and that child is born, and you see that this energy is meant to be here and it continues to live life through that form.
Right. Yep. So whatever happens, it'll work itself out. I feel like
Everything that you
I
do is
just
going to be perfect. And that realization, the quicker that you come to it, the more peace that you find. You'll never do anything
Right.
wrong. You can never do anything right. You just do things, and it's how the mind perceives it. But if you apply
Right.
yourself to that which you know to be true, that's all you can do here. And for
Right.
me,
That's true.
it's so very true. And for me here, you make the decision for the dog because the dog is not in the capacity to it, and you're coming from a space of love. And you
Right.
just allow that to happen.
I know. And when the other woman was speaking before me, when she was talking about her family members being sick, and how do you behave? I almost feel, because he's my family member and I don't want to be upset around him, but I mean, he can probably hear us talking right now. I don't want to upset him. So anyway, I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, should I just try to be strong around him? Or if I cry around him, am I upsetting him? But I think I'm thinking about it too much. And
It's
like
just
I was talking to
unconditional
Bonnie
love,
about
like
it,
the dog.
and she was like,
Unconditional
just
love.
let it happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just give no conditions to anything. Silence the questioner and just be there present. And the more time that you have looking in his eyes is the more time that you have to be present with him.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah,
understands everything
that's
you're
true.
going through. It's all energy. And while he is still under your care, just give him yourself. Just be there. Look at him. He knows exactly what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And he served you.
Yeah,
And he's been there for you this whole time. So you repay
he
him,
has, definitely.
yeah, by doing what you know to be right, and he trusts you.
I will. All right, I want to shift to something different. So
Yeah.
quickly, I want to talk about my understanding of our firmament and the stars is that the stars are holes in the firmament, and they there's water behind that, and there's a light from heaven shining through that, which makes the stars look contorted in different colors. When you look at them, I've seen them in those videos with the Nikon cameras. And so I'm wondering, how can I hear about planets moving, and how can like a hole in the firmament move? That's what I start to get confused, because I think I know what's going on sometimes, and then I don't now, then I get completely derailed. So
do you
what is your
initially at the start you said stars were holes in the firmament, yeah?
right?
So
Yes, that's what I
stars,
think. I'm not sure.
Stars and firmament. If you look at the word firmament, it says firmament, which is a mind, okay? If you break the word down, it's the matter of consciousness, fully magnetically balanced with the alpha. So what it's saying is the firmament truly is the the balanced matter in your mind. So this here, when one was balanced inside the true self, the ment, the horse of a mentee, or this true self, the dreamer, in his balanced state created the firmament. And it's all coming from a mind itself. So all possibilities are limited by the perception of this great mind. Now, star is ST, which is a sine wave within the physical, and A is alpha, R is full magnetic. So the stars themselves, even the word start, you'll see the start is coming from the word star. And start has a T on the end from the star, and that's a physical. So you start as a star in the physical. Stars themselves can never be seen past a certain height. So they're not really real. They're like sonoluminescence, they're vibrations within the torus of this grand mechanism. So for you, it's just a sine wave of something physical. And your physical self, you could say, is a sine wave from the star, because it's just incandescent colors or colors. And when you truly look at them, they're consistently shifting their shape, they're consistently shifting their geometry and colors.
And twinkling. I know. I look at them all the time now. Yeah.
Stars themselves
And
rotate. With this, they're fixed, they rotate, and they're a part of this you could say cosmic clock. Planets themselves wander. Planets are not stars. Planets are suns and moons, but have been classified within the Greeks as wandering stars, but they are just suns and moons, these planets.
So they are moving, right? That's where I get confused. Like, and I was going to say a few weeks back at the end of December, I guess it was, or maybe it was when we were doing the juice fast, Venus was so bright and lower. Every night I would see it when I was walking my dogs. It was just unbelievable. I couldn't, it just looked like a spotlight, and it was so low. And like, I couldn't understand, why does that happen? You know?
So she's a moon.
Just because it's the firmament's moving, I guess.
Well, she's a moon. So when you see Venus, she's a moon. And when you see Mars, it's a sun. And as they're rotating on their path, which is in outer space along the plane, and they're rotating a bigger diameter, and they're doing exactly what they do through the hyperboloid, up and down, round and round. Depending on where they are at the time that you can see them. So sometimes you won't be able to see them because they'll be there. It's good to understand this. So for example, as our sun goes around its path on its day to day, this maintains the same. It just does its route, comes back. The moon itself is magnetized by the sun. So when the sun goes past it, it pulls it back. And then as it goes forward, it springs it forward. The moon stops until the sun comes back around. It pulls it back and goes forward. So the moon's consistently doing this as it goes round. So what you're seeing when you see the very bright low moon is the Venus on its path to you, but it's close. Was it low, very low?
Yeah. Very low.
So when it's on a low horizon, you get this atmospheric magnification. So it magnifies it through the small particles of water that we see. So it acts as a magnifying glass. And you're just seeing a wonderful moon. So if you can find yourself a to-pics or P1000 camera now, you should try to zoom in and take a look at what it looks like.
Like all the colors, I'm sure it would be, because I've seen it on the other cameras. Yeah, definitely will. Okay.
Yeah, these are great things to contemplate, in your physical reality. But, things are just so as they are, and just surrender to them and look at their beautiful nature. I think it was just once was a sun and once was a moon here. And as we get new suns, there's a new energy with the sun, which creates like almost a different form each time. The ability to have different, abilities, frequencies within the earth, more expansion. This whole consciousness itself, everything expands, not just you. The earth expands itself, is continually pushing out, and even if you see cosmically the tree itself, a tree always comes from the center as it creates its spirals. You know, it pushes up through the center. Plants also push from the center up, and it would be the same from the center of this plane. It just continues to kind of expand outwardly.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Wow. Thank you. That was a good answer.
I'm glad it was able to help.
Yeah, I've been wondering that for a while. The last question I have for you is when you say that you know this is your last life here,
Yeah.
because you do know that, like you just know that, is that because you know, because you tackled your ego and you know that's what would stop you from coming back?
Yeah, the ego is what makes you believe that you are the body mind. So that limitation continues to be recycled in yourself.
Right.
So when you come to that revelation and realization that you are this dreamer or the actual Godhead itself, that incarnation. If you look at the word incarnation, even Karn comes from Karni, but Kar is a carrier. So incarnation or incarni ion is in the flesh ion level. So it's an ionic flesh suit. So incarnation again only happens within the flesh when one still is identified as the body mind. Otherwise, you know, you have no limitations ever as the self, but you can create anything you wish. So
Right.
you wouldn't want to be limited in a body that has to deal with all these issues and feedings and all these types of things. But you can still create without any limitations here. So that realization is just the separation from you, this ego, the mind. I mean, the ego has been with us for millions of years of evolution, you know, and when you have finished it, you experience what would be prophesized as a heaven,
Right.
whatever you wish.
So you've been here for millions of years, and this is the end of your incarnation here.
We've been here all experiencing expansion for millions of years. And if one has the ability to glimpse these teachings, it's so important that we can apply it, because to become free from samsara is to experience ultimate liberation and boundlessness.
Right.
And
That's what everybody's striving for. Is that's what we're doing.
yeah, the samsara, the great cycle of birth, life, and death, just exists in the mind.
Yeah.
And that's all that can ever be and all that can ever exist, because the truth is nothing is physical. Nothing is physical. Yet everybody bases the whole reality on something that is perceived and believed to be physical. But your whole existence is non-physical. That's why you can never find yourself. You can find a body, but you don't say this is myself. You say this is my body. So it's not yourself. Right. You know, my mind. So who's the my?
Yeah.
You know, and that realization happens internally. And when it happens internally, you become free. So
Right.
I would never choose to have another incarnation just to then have to find myself again.
Well, my ego has been getting the better of me, and mine starts to tell me, like, why do you want to stay here, you know, longer for 100 years? Like, why are you drinking so much juice? You know, go back to cooked foods. Know what I mean? It's telling me I don't, because I'm not exactly having a great time with the dogs being sick. You know, I have 2 dogs that are sick right now. So then I start to say, like, is this how it's going to be? You know, because I always want to have dogs in my life. It's just, it's in me. So it's just hard to go through this. I've been doing it a long time, and, you know, it just gets you. So, but maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. I don't know.
Of course,
Going through this.
if you're, you know, you say you identify as somebody that needs dogs in their life, the very nature of these dogs is building up a relationship and having to go through seeing them, you know, lose their bodies multiple times because they have short life expectancies as compared to yours. So as a part of that being your relationship to life is the very thing to free you. to see, this
Right.
is life. You have to accept life as what it is. If you choose to
Right.
live in an illusion, then you're going to fall trapped to the emotion, and then that emotion is showing you that the illusion has been seen and it's felt. But you can become free from this. You keep your attention on what is, and you keep it focused here, and you see that the dog is here still. And if the dog's
Hmm.
gone, you have this moment and you continue. And you can
Yes.
have anything in your life as long as it doesn't have this attachment. You just let it go. You just let it go. And you continue to exist here. And the mind may say, do not feel bad for not thinking about it. It's not a part of this reality here. The mind only wants to recycle it. So do you want
Right.
to exist as the mind itself, or do you want to be here present in this moment? Each moment that you were the dog, right, these 15 years that you've had, if you were fully present with it, life would be so different for you, and that dog. So when you're fully present, you're fully engaged, and everything is felt. The eyes are seen, the hearts are connected.
Hmm.
This whole experience is so much appreciated, and that time that you have is spent so wisely with it. It's just a great
Yeah.
expansive thing for you. I think that's the way that it's going to
Yeah.
be for you.
I think so. I don't know.
Everything's
I
perfect.
was.
Everything is perfect. Perfect, sister. Everything.
I see blue skies ahead. I do. I think it'll free me up a little bit eventually. I hate to say that because I don't want to, obviously it's upsetting me what's going on, but I feel like eventually then I can, focus on getting things
Yeah.
situated for myself. So
And notice that you
anyway,
only get upset when you think.
yeah,
You cannot get upset if you don't think.
that's true.
You
You're right.
cannot. You cannot.
I'm always afraid to do the wrong thing for them, because they don't talk. So it's hard to figure out, obviously, but I know them intuitively. I mean, I can,
How
see
could it ever
what's
be
going on.
wrong? The mind wants to assess things if they're right or wrong, but if it was an action that was taking place, it could never be right or wrong. It was just an action that was taking place. Everything is perfect in this moment. Everything that you do is perfect, even for the very dog that's with you. So you can never make any error. You just continue to do what's
Yeah.
best on this journey that you're on. And don't think. Don't think.
Yeah.
Anytime you
That
see
is the
yourself
biggest
thinking,
problem.
back
Yeah.
yourself back into this present state and realize that you just fell trapped to a thought. Right until the very last second, you can be so beautifully present. Every time you see him, look into his eyes, and then a thought will arise and you'll be here. Perfect for you.
Yep.
We love
Definitely.
you so much, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything.
Thank you so much.
Have
Thank you. Have a
beautiful
great day.
Yeah, you
You
too,
too.
sister. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sister Rachel, a pleasure. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank
There
you.
we go.
So grateful for everyone here, for this community. Josh, for all the energy that you give. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
How are we on time, by the way? I wanted to be mindful of that.
You please. I do have a few consultations later on, but my first one is actually at 3:45, so we've got some time.
So I have until 3:45.
Half past.
If I can say something about what Sister Tara was talking about, and maybe this will be a good intro to the art of transmutation versus that push-pull. And so something I've been kind of practicing with myself and the discomfort that I am perceiving in my physical body is cultivating a gratitude for it, which removes a lot of the resistance to it or the fears, and seeing the body as the guru. But for Sister Tara, maybe even an opportunity to practice in everything, give thanks. I know my body is teaching me a lot and leading me to a lot of beautiful beings, healers, teachers. That's what led me here, was feeling discomfort in my body and looking for answers to the question. But when I'm thanking my body and trusting it as a guide to my own personal transformation, it becomes much more joyful experience, and I'm at much more peace and having fun with the pain, actually. Like, thank you. Just met an awesome acupuncturist. So just, you know, the art of transmutation and its alchemical practice. And I kind of wanted to hear you speak about that, as we're both letting go and surrendering and being present, observing the thoughts. And at the same time, you know, there is the dropping the thought, which is sometimes hard. It doesn't always fall like a stone, you know, sometimes it lingers. And then that practice of transmuting the energy into from negative to positive, but is that versus the push pull?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, even the words that are coming out are absolutely natural and perfect themselves. But you see the word transmutation, it's transmute, mute is to silence. So this push and pull create noise, you could say, or tension. And if you are pure attention looking to transmute, it has to be on the silence. And that silence exists not in between these two thoughts. It exists before the thought arises inside of yourself. So the very fact that the awareness can see the thoughts themselves is one thing, but to know that your attention and your attention is being given to this thinker is what's causing that separation and the ego to still exist. Now, every question that arises from the mind. Every thought that arises from the mind. All of this has been very much seen by your true self. But the very key to becoming free is to stay silent. It's to see without the noise of this ego, mind, entity that continues to transcribe the very thing which is happening present. So, as a part of you, if you are in this transitional space where you're very aware of all these things and all these functions that exist here, the transition can be hard, you know, to get into this wonderful space of freedom. So then we say, what do I need to do to be able to become free? You have never not been free. You have always been free. You can never not be free. It's only a belief and a concept that you are free. So we must remove all concepts. And as concepts arise, we then remove them. We transmute them. We then return to the silence. They arise, they are transmuted, and you return to the silence. You don't try to destroy the mind. You don't try to overcome the mind. The mind does what it does. And attention slips sometimes. And it's fine that it slipped. But just remember, in your observation and your awareness, you have the opportunity now to tune it and redirect it back into this present state. If you're looking for the ultimate peace, the ultimate is to surrender everything. And in that surrender, you can never ask or even have another question. It's ultimately pure silence. You go back to yourself and you contemplate on who I am or who am I. And in these questions, you'll see that the questioner was seen, the one that was aware of this question has been seen. I can see all of these things arise inside of me. Who am I? I cannot see this, so I must be the subject of all of this. So my ultimate reality is the subject reality of the self. Nothing is objective. I cannot objectify anything, and all objects are concepts. So if all objects are concepts, the material world doesn't exist, and all that exists is me, or is I. This is the I, that I am. Every single concept is a limitation. The limitation comes from imitation. Everything that we ask is something that we've already seen or we've queried or anything. But in your silence, you have peace. This is the only piece that you are. This is the grand missing piece of the puzzle. The I that is behind you is all that you are. You see, and you are within this magic. You have created this magic. Every moment comes from yourself. You are the creator of all things. You have created a vessel, you have created a mind, you have created a torus, you have created everything. Do you wish to return home? The I has never left you. It has remained. It was you who chose to leave the I and play. If the game or the player is ready to return home, do nothing. Nothing. You are it. Everything that you see just is. Don't try. There is no search. There is no enlightenment. There is nothing. Your freedom is found in absolutely letting go of all concepts. But
And
first,
enjoy,
you are absolute joy.
enjoy, to enjoy all of this. Yeah.
This is the moment, and this is the magic moment. This moment here is life. And we could miss life by searching.
Mm.
Searching for something that you will never find because you are already the thing which you seek. Our attention is the only thing which slips. And we have all of these dimensions inside ourselves at any given time. The person, the player, the P layer, the layer of light that exists on the P lane, the lane of light, or the planet, the light lane and physical. All of these things are dreamt. How can anything physical be non-physical? And they say the field, but what is the field? The field is seen. The field is not that which is true, that I created the very field for the experiencer and the person and the mind to fall trap into belief systems so it can experience separation and duality. You are the creator of all these things. You consistently create, but you're limited by the mind. There is no limit but what one holds within inside themselves, within their perception. If you hold no perception, there is no limit. You are free, you are boundless. You could sit here with me now and you could focus yourself so much that you create. You've created a true deity here. Now, the deity is your friend. The deity exists with you. It has communications and it can even give you the secrets to the universe. But little did one know that there was a wonderful aspect of your mind that created this situation. And it seems so very real and so very vivid that you believed you were speaking to the Lord himself. You are the Lord. You're the law of all form, LORD. All form has been created from you. You're the effortless space. You're the formlessness that perceives form within inside itself that can never be found and is only experienced in judgmentless, effortless silence. This is why the world is full of distraction. This is why, as we evolve and we have more opportunity to find this with logically presented truth now, that the artificial intelligence is manifesting So one has a greater trap, a greater chance of failing, and a greater chance of returning. It's all down to the true will of your self. Is the wheel of your will ready, and do you have the devotion and the attentiveness to do what is necessary to become free? Can you keep your attention on the silence? Do absolutely nothing. The questioner, silence him. You'll see that there's a great peace. Maybe a smile, maybe some laughter may arise. Nothing matters. You're in control. You have choice. If you master your universe, all dimensions are accessible to you by choice. This is your freedom. As an identity persona or the identity crisis, we have no choice. We believe we do. So enjoy your freedom of choice. You see, attention is kind of slipping. Mind is talking. It's never stopped. The noise doesn't exist with attention on something else. Devote some time, devote some energy, and focus yourself. Spend a few days with your attention fixated only in the present moment, breathing, smelling, tasting, touching, observing so attentively that there is no mind. And when you find the space of presence, this is enlightenment or labeled as enlightenment, but it's not the ultimate. So one may continue to seek and lose enlightenment because they're seeking again. Everything is silence. Silence the questioner. Continue to see, and you'll find that you become the bee, the seer. You are everything, my sister. And hold on to nothing. Enjoy everything. Give everything your time. Give everything yourself. And the magic of life will present itself to you in that very moment. The sensation, the body to taste, the touch, the relationships, the birds, the bees, the fruit trees. We've created this, and together we enjoy it. It's never left you. It can never leave you. It's just illusion. How much magic is continually around us. The children, to dream, the children. While we have the beautiful gift of children, be so attentive to them. Smell them. Grace them with your presence. And let's continue to grow and to plant this seed of presence in all sacred beings. Everything will be restored. Within the grand illusion of life. Manifestation, phenomenon. It's the greatest gift of ourselves. And I thank you for the question. And I thank you for your presence and the gift of yourself. I truly see you as myself. We are not separate. We can never be separate. This world was to get lost in. It was to ask questions. It was to create a limitation. It was to create pain and suffering, and more pain and more suffering from when we separate ourselves more. And the closer we get to bringing ourselves into the driving seat, suffering doesn't exist. Suffering was a thought. Suffering will never be in this moment. Even physical pain can be transcended here and now. Consistently. Attention off of this body and into something so much deeper that watches this body. That's where you'll find your freedom from pain. Stay silent.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Or Ong So Hung. I am that.
The absolute.
So we play while we're here with all of these beautiful energies. So I'm like seeing a lot of sacred geometry in my world and in the meditations and the dimensions of the yantra and Sri yantra and the flower of life, and kind of just enjoying following this beautiful trail.
You can only continue to unfold that which is physical.
Don't make them up.
Observe it as such beauty. Everything itself is dynamically
let's see.
geometric.
It's
perfectly
10.
Designed.
Yes.
Perfectly designed.
Sorry, I couldn't. There we go. Could you say that again?
Yeah. So everything that we see, we continue to unfold the nature of this physicality or this physical world. And there's such union and unification with this spiral, this wonderful geometry of everything that we see. And you continue to observe life and take a real close look at it. And you'll see that everything is unified. Everything is perfect. There is nothing that is out of place. You reveal yourself, this wonderful physical world, physical earth. And then we come into more acceptance of what is true. You created everything so perfect by its design. And as you begin to reveal this to yourself, you begin to know yourself more. You begin to trust in creation. You begin to remove limitations and beliefs and negative outlooks on the world. And instead of seeing, weeds, flowers that need to be pulled, you see life. You learn the purpose of life, and how it works and communicates with each other. And the very role of a human being here. To have this mind, this body, this presence, this consciousness, this awareness, and this seeing. And your pure attention, where do you sit yourself? You experience it. Attentiveness on a flower, you experience the flower. You experience all dimensions with the flower. You experience the smell, the textures, the vibrancy. Now you have a newfound respect for life within the flower and yourself, because you have a relationship with the flowers. And every time you see a flower, you communicate, and your song sings, such as theirs. Flowers will open for you. They will blossom in your presence. As one has a journey of awakening, we become very familiar with our surroundings because we begin to observe them rather than to just see them for or from the mind. And then all magic within inside the physical is revealed to you. And then a growing gratitude, an expansive gift of freedom begins to pierce your being, and the light shines through. And then you begin to understand the ego and the beings that exist inside thought. As you expand yourself beyond this and have no judgment, and you forgive, and seeing that limitation and boundary, and then you have more freedom. And you give thanks for that which you are and that which you are able to see. And then you experience the food and the freedom that brings with the truth. And the pain body experiences from the limitations of certain foods, and appreciate the true gift, the seeded fruit-bearing trees. More gratitude, a greater relationship. You see the world, and you see its nature and what it does, and business, commerce. You see that it supplies food to the unconscious working class, feeds the world. There's no negativity there. It just is what it is. It does what it does. And I become free from limitations of it. I get to choose, expand myself, and experience more. We begin to see the thinker. We begin to recognize that if we don't think, we are consistently free and present. And as we begin to see this, we apply the non-thinking. We leave, we don't pick up, we lose our identity. There is no greater gift than the sweet smell of life. More joy, more gratitude, more love. This is all found inside. Don't revolve around others. Have an internal revolution. This is our evolution. Your freedom lies within inside. No one can make you become free.
If I'm meditating on this question, where does my conscious awareness meet my physical sensation?
You are watching the physical being and awareness. Believe that it's meditating.
Okay. Say that again. That's hilarious.
There you go.
It's my avatar.
You're watching it. You're watching it inside yourself, and your awareness is believing that it's meditating. The body has arisen inside your awareness. The meditation, the meditator, and all concepts also exist there. But yet you're watching it, and you're watching the play. You're watching the search. You're watching everything. You've always remained this watcher, your guardian angel. You are that. You are the truth. You've never been separate from it. It was just a belief. You either enjoy life or you don't. You have to conceptualize each moment. You exist in the purity of the nothingness, where there is no concept. It's just immaculate. No label. You become an able. And that laughter that you find is what you truly are. Spread the perfume, sister. Spread the perfume.
Joy for everyone.
Everyone.
Here you
Just
are.
Laughter.
In
These-
every.
These
Go ahead.
questions that have arisen, the question that you just asked, is a concept which is seen. But you have to not try to become the seer, because you are already the seer. So trying to become the seer is coming from a mind. So when one tries to do something, they're separating themselves as if they are not the very thing which they're doing, but yet the trier is the body and the seer is watching the body. Try. That's why silence is your source. And from that silence, you can create worlds. You're limitless.
With my imagination.
With yourself. You have a dynamic system of awareness. And inside that awareness, you have a mind. You have a mind, or a universal mind, that sees all. That is the I that created all of this. And you can use these things as the gift, your tools. You are Solomon. You are the Solomon. The soul, O void mon one. The soul of one void, nothing. You are nothing. You build your temples, God will come. But you clean the house,
Mm.
and he will enter and stay. This is the destruction of your pillars. It doesn't mean you can't use them. You don't conceptualize. This is a mind. It does what it does. This is a body. It does what it does. You don't consciously take care of the body. It still takes care of itself. The food, you put it in, the body does what it does. The awareness itself is aware. The awareness is seen. You are the grand seer. Free.
Hung so hung. I am that.
You are that. You have never, ever been separate from that. And this is why one cannot enjoy life. When all you've ever wished for was life. And life is all around you. Life is in you. Emanating, piercing. Pure attention, pure love. Give everything that you do in each moment your full attention. Get lost in the joy of life and the differences that this moment continually brings. Nothing is ever the same. Don't have expectations of things being the same, because you'll see them as the same, but yet everything is so sweet and different.
So here we are in this construct of time as we perceive it to be. And I was thinking this morning about the challenge of, being in the world, but not of the world, and what feels like the pressures of time sometimes. And I'm looking for some inspiration this morning. You've already spoken into it, obviously, with concepts, but we're walking our feet on this earth. And sometimes time feels so real. And other times I feel like I can time travel just by moving my awareness or my perception, shifting my perception into more stillness and surrender. And that can be a challenge sometimes for me.
You say we're walking. You see that there is walking. You're not really walking. The body's walking. And it's doing what it does, but the identify with the body causes the suffering, the pain, and the limitation to it. Because if you truly come from a space that has been contemplated and meditated with, and then you walk, you will see that there is walking. You see this, but you are not this walker. Everything the walker does is seen, and you have no control over this walker. It's your pet. And that pet does what it does. And you exist separate from that. But when you shift your attention into this, all of this suffering and backache and feet soreness, conversations that cause aggravation. It all comes flooding in. It's just, or should I say, adjust. Slight perception shift, and then freedom is there. And you pick up nothing. The question of the body, the question of all this, for someone who is where you are, it's time to silence these questions. It's time, every time they arise, you divert the attention off of the questioner and know inside yourself that you exist beyond all of these concepts. When you reach that true divine, all these questions that have arisen inside of the person are so limited to that which you know as the self, because the self created everything. Every last drop of physicality you created. You know everything. Thinking will never bring you to this space. Thinking just pulls in memory. Memory is limited. You're free, you're boundless, you're limitless, you're pure attention. Where do you give it? You have dimensions inside of you. They exist. They're seen. You're the seer. Be the seer and make a choice where you sit in each moment. Don't let the moment be carried by the mind. Become free from the mind. Life is a choice. Anger may be felt. It may be seen. You are not the anger. The anger arises inside of you. Reactions may occur. Distill yourself instantly by attention off of these emotions, these feelings, these thoughts. And one day, there will just be a switch. You will lose your identity. You will become formless. You may try to find yourself again, or try to find the body. Very funny thing. But continue, my sister, to surrender the questioner and to have this deep-rooted knowing that you are everything that you seek. You have always been that. In that, there is no concept, just creation. The inspiration is knowing that you can create anything. You are the manifester. You are the manifest. You are the seer of all of these things. And continue to practice the art of merging in between, and in your contemplations become one, become the other, become the other. Observe your reality, test and repeat, and give your attention to something for such a deep period of time that they come a part of your reality without your effort. Just inside, the work is done. The attention is set and seen, and then everything that you need will be given to you or revealed, because you are the creator.
Can we talk about the Elohim?
Well, you see the word El within inside of it. The E-L, this is God. And the void is the O, and the vibration of consciousness balanced. So the Elohim are those which have found balance, the Trinity, the ability to become the truth within physicality and form. They are those which may have been called Israel, Raphael, Michael.
Rachel.
There you go.
I'm
There is-
so hung. I am that.
There is no denying. This is the same, you know. This is the same. The Anunnaki, the ones that have found Anu and Naki, two separate words, etymology put them together. Again, this is the ones that have found the divine feminine and become balanced within inside themselves through the nature of physicality, through the nature of this purgatory, through the nature of the world and suffering.
So from the dimension, and correct my, I don't know what I'm necessarily talking about. I'm trying to throw together what I'm understanding from life. But you know, as matter is formed from vibration, you know, is Elohim kind of referring to that energetic formation of vibration into physicality?
But it would be very much the highest point of perception limited to physicality seen in such a way. So on one side of it, physically, you would say the Elohim would be the torus field, the shape, the vibration, the frequency, energy, and vibration that allows physical life to be experienced. All of this is seen. All of this is seen by the I that you are. All energy, all frequency, all vibration doesn't exist. And neither do you.
Not that again.
This is what it would always come back to. The truth will set you free. This doesn't exist. You're living a dream. You're the dreamer. And everything inside the dream is a concept. You are that which dreams, which sees. So the Elohim itself is the realized one, that you are that. And the torus is the torus, the atom is the torus. The torus is T, which is physical. Taurus, Horus, Sun, Taurus, 7-color Taurus map, 7 colors of light, sine wave, even sine wave. Everything must be balanced here in the physical. There's a sway from left to right. There's a push and pull. There's these scales of Libra. Lib is to free. Rise the sun. You're the sun. We need to free May sun. And how do you become free? By consistently peeling the layers of your belief and your perception, which is limited by the mind, which is held with the attention of the self, into this body that believes it's this, which is the separation and duality that you fell from in your questions as awareness itself. And as awareness itself continually expands through its questions, what happens? It must collapse itself because it is not the truth. And the truth is everything that you've conceptualized doesn't even exist, and neither do you. You were never born. That was a concept. That was a creation inside yourself for the very thing of belief to manifest, for the separation. So if you want the truth, you don't exist. Everything that you speak of is a concept, and you remain quiet. and you bask in yourself, and you learn to know the self, and you sit here and you feel the self and recognize that everything you see is from that which you are. You can never be found. You can actually never be lost. You just believe, be lie. So we can teach physicality. We can say, this whole world itself is so incredible. There's energy, frequency, vibration. Everything is non-physical until there's a fixed awareness, and then the vibration manifests and it becomes form. But that again is a dream if non-physicality exists, and that's all that exists. And any time an observer sees something, this vibration happens. What is coming from the observer? Who is the observer, and what does he see? Does he need to know what he sees, or is it just a seeing? The need to know comes from something else. Who is the needer to know? Who needs to know and wants to know? Are you the need to know? Or are you something far more greater than this? And does that need to know need to be transmuted or transcended? Of course. This is the nature of the mind. This is the automatic peeler of the onion. And you just need to keep taking the layers that you've accumulated off until you become one again. Of course, individuality is in divine or divided duality. And duality exists as a concept. Singularity is that which you are. 0 point. Die. That which is still.
If I choose to play in the physicality of this expression, and I'm cleansing my temple, and I'm going off on a slightly different direction here.
Good.
In an effort to be aware, stay in awareness of the time, but as I'm cleansing, how do I rebuild with enzymes and minerals? Is it possible to over mineralize? How conscious do I need to be of rebuilding as I'm cleansing and removing?
Rebuilding non-stomach here. We're talking about mind, yeah? Or rebuilding perception.
Yes. I think rebuilding strength in the physical, and yes, this just all in my mind. Because yeah.
I'd say the universal mind, which is what you truly are, the self. Then you have this body and the body mind, which is a limited ego. One should try to see beauty in everything. Again, as you were saying, gratitude and all these types of things, they're very, very good to sweeten your perception, which makes you, feel within the body. Everything that you see is divine and has such beauty. That's important. It's important. As for the body itself, you can't really over mineralize the body because all excess minerals are just excreted in urine. So no, you can't do that. And the only thing you should try to do is just to make sure that you're consistently eating enough fruit when you are consuming fruit, and just give time a few times a year to just distill, to abstain, to gain control over the food desire if there is any. And you'll live a very happy, long, healthy life in the physical. if you wish to extend it, some people, when they find this space, they just want to experience and they're not worried about the physical body anymore because it doesn't exist. But in saying so, if one is connected via these different dimensions, then the body is the tool. So use the tool to experience, enjoy, and don't forget who you truly are. When you sleep at night, you return, but you still dream. That's your true space. And then the body comes back in, and you fall asleep again. The self. If you bring the self into this, life is so piercing, so astonishing, so magnificent. It magnifies senses so far and beyond the supernatural element, the gamma ray, the superhero, her O, her void, H vibration, E ether, blue shift, R full magnetic, O void, the hero. This is the journey of that, and you are already it. You have never been separate. Continue to choose the right choices and do contemplation and find out who you are. And the more you do this, the more it will sit with you. Every question you have, please question, recognize the questioner as you contemplate, silence the questioner. From that knowing that you see the questioner arise in yourself, so you can't be the questioner. You have to be the self. Continue to have this practice. Questioner is fine. You don't have to be the questioner. It's just an awareness. It's something that you use, or something that is, but it's not you. You don't need to know the questioner or the question, because you already know, because you created both.
Me, myself, and I.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Hong So Hung. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank me for creating you to talk to me.
Exactly.
I'm so grateful for you and your energy.
Thank
and
you.
the vibrations of your voice and your writing and everything you're sharing. And for Michelle and little X.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything that you are, everything that you do, and all your love and kindness and support is so kind.
It's fun to exchange.
And yeah, thank you for the questions. They are very rare, but they are much needed sometimes. Very much needed.
I've got a list. I'll save some for next time.
Yes, I look forward to them very much. Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. And on that beautiful note, and I will say that I have a consultation in a second. So each and every one that was here, I am so grateful for your presence. I'm so grateful for your love and support and kindness and energy and everything that you apply yourself to. You are such a gift to everyone and to everything. I am so grateful to have you with us. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy each moment. Continue to create and to be that which you wish to see, and it will be seen.
Thank you, Josh.
Love you all so much.
Love you.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Oh.